Okay, let's just waiting to see all the streams buffer on. Okay, live Twitch, live Kick, live YouTube. Looks like we are live. Hello, all streaming platforms. We're both tired today. It's an exhausting day. We both worked. We're both trying to caffeinate up right now.
Yep. Trying not to fall asleep here.
I know. We'll probably keep it like somewhat short. Like I definitely not rolling a full 4 hours here. Yeah.
There's no way I'm gonna be here till midnight.
Yeah, no fucking shot. Plus I don't think we have that much to talk about. I think we're gonna react to some random internet stuff, and the meat of what we're gonna talk about today is, of course, the Iran deal?
The glorious Iran deal.
Is it a deal, though?
Didn't lose the war. Totally didn't lose the war. Totally didn't surrender. We may have conceded to all 14 of their points. We may not have gotten any of our points. We may have paid them $340 billion, where the original Obama deal was just $1.7 billion. But we really won this,
Yeah.
I think everyone who's a true red-blooded American knows that this was a W for Donald J. Trump.
Definitely a W. Definitely a W. It's crazy. I was reading the details of the deal, and we'll look at that in a second, but early previews of the deal, I thought I had read, and I was totally wrong on this, but I thought I had read we were going to unfreeze $24 billion of aid, or of assets, and then also pay them like $30 billion while letting them maintain control of the Strait of Hormuz to keep doing tolls.
30 billion. We are paying them 300.
Yeah, I was about to say, I got a whole, or I found the full thing and read through it. Yeah, there's a zero missing on that. Yeah. And then on top of that, the 24 billion in assets, it's actually 124 billion.
I'm not gonna lie. So, objectively, on the world stage, this is like actually the right thing to do. But that's not why he's doing it, right?
No, it's because he's getting spanked.
40 billion is going to rebuild like their infrastructure and the shit we bombed and all that, right? Like, that's the right thing to do. You unjustly started a war, you leveled their cities, you build that shit, right? That's not why we're doing it.
No, it's because we're getting spanked. And I think we're probably gonna get spanked harder. I guess we'll just to preface this, jump over to
Don John Trump.
Yeah.
Don John Bino Trump.
Because
Trump.
A wise man once said in January of 2020, Iran never won a war, but never lost a negotiation. That wise man.
Who said that?
Donald Trump.
Oh, that's what I thought you were going to say.
So how do you go back to the United States and convince a skeptical American public that this deal is a win?
Here they lost militarily, okay? It's very tough because I know that no matter what, if I would go, by the way, if I'd go another 3 or 4 weeks, those same people that are critical would say, he went too long, he should have done, no matter what. If they raised the white flag of surrender, and if they said, praise be to Allah, Donald Trump is the greatest president ever. We totally concede. We totally give up. This war is over. We have failed. The New York Times and CNN and a couple of others, they're not all that dishonest. They say Iran had a great victory, okay? And they practically do that. It's amazing. When we knocked out their last ship, they had 159 ships. When we knocked out the last ship, the Times refused to do a story on it. They said, why wouldn't you? They don't have a Navy, and you don't want to do a story on it. They don't have an air.
Just to pause, we gave them that Navy. The Navy we blew up, we also gifted that to them. So, like, we gave them things, we paid for things, gave it to them, and then later spent money to blow them up.
Cynical.
Yeah.
Air Force, you don't want to do a story. We need a fair press. And that's why they're all doing so badly, because they lost credibility. When I win in a landslide and I had 93% bad press, they take good stories about me and make them bad. But the only reason that happened is because they have so little, the media has so little credibility that the people voted for me. 93% of the stories
He's a
on
rambler.
network, ABC is
Big time.
horrible. I think ABC is the worst. NBC is terrible. And CBS is terrible. The CNN, obviously. And I never get good stories, no matter what I do. I could do the greatest thing. I won't get good stories on this. I'll get it from fair media. I'll get it from all over the world. They're writing good. But no matter what I do, I'm going to get bad press. I know that. Now, if I did the opposite, if I went out and continued to bomb them for another 4, just bomb the hell out of them, I'd get bad press on that. No, there's nothing I can do. But what this does is it allows the ships to go. If we keep bombing, those ships won't be going. And you're talking about $500, $600, $700 million a day. It's a lot of money. A lot of money. That's why the world is okay. It's liquid. It's fine. Also, we run out of reserves in about 4 weeks. You know, there are reserves all.
He just said it there. We run out of reserves in about 4 weeks.
Why would you say that, dude?
This was said on, like, Tuesday. On, like, Tuesday.
Why would you say that? Why
Yeah.
would you admit that?
What is it, like Sun Tzu in like the Art of War? It's never interrupt your enemy while he's making a mistake.
Just, bruh.
He's just like showing you the hand. He's just showing you. He's like, I've got a 2. I've got a jack.
Well, He's
And
just
that's it.
shitting words out of his mouth, though.
Yeah, because like, okay, we can't even actually know if that's true because he does just, you're right, he word vomits.
He just lies, shit stuff out of his mouth. Like, literally 90% of what comes out of his mouth just seems to be absolutely made up gobbledygook.
Yeah, so it's like, who knows? Maybe we're not. Maybe we're not. But like, why would they come to the table if they know they have us over a barrel? You should have come out and been like, if you actually want this shit signed, you should come out and be like, we could go on forever. We've got all the oil. Immense amounts of oils, the biggest oil stores ever. Much bigger than when Obama was in office. Like, how was that not what he did? But instead he's like, we're fucked, guys. 4 weeks and we're fucked. So
Because he's a tactical genius. You don't see it yet.
Yeah, he's a tactical genius. I don't see it.
Yeah, you just don't get it.
Because, yeah, like, all they have to do is stall talks for, like, another 4 weeks, and then we're gonna be like, did we say 300 billion? I think we meant $1 trillion.
I think we meant a gazillion.
Yeah,
you know?
I think we meant actually, would you like a seat in the Senate? I think, could we make Iran part of the United States of America?
I always joke with people because they always act like the USSR did like the craziest genocides ever. Whenever people start bringing it up, but I'm like, yeah, when the USSR just like exterminated the human population, when they killed like 2 gazillion people, you know?
Yeah, no, it's always wild how when we want to give like the China one is actually what gets me because like it's the most disingenuous one of all time where we say like the Chinese communism killed like 250 million people or something. It's like you're talking about a famine.
Also, like, that's not even a close to accurate number. Best guesstimations is around like 6 million at most.
Yeah,
And again,
I've seen like 10 at the highest is of
it's
real.
like actual food insecurity. Like it's like actual, yeah. Like
Yeah,
I'm not saying they didn't make logistical mistakes, but there's a big difference between maliciously killing millions of people, purposefully letting them starve, and just fucking up and not having enough food. You
yeah.
know?
Because like I say this all the time. If we're gonna take a tally like that, then every death in America ever due to healthcare insecurity is a kill on capitalism.
If we're gonna take a tally like that, dog, Britain killed 160 million Indians. If we're gonna take a tally like that,
I think it might be more. The East India Trade Company, like, because we have to count the famine that they caused in India, not just the people they straight up killed.
that's what I'm saying. Like, minimum they killed 160 million fucking people. That's one of the craziest things. Like, it's such a Western history to, like, focus so much on the Holocaust as, like, the greatest genocide. When, like, you learn history from other countries and they're, like, talking about all these other genocides that went on. And it's like, obviously, the Holocaust was fucking awful, but all these other genocides that went on that just absolutely dominate the Holocaust in numbers, you know? And
Yeah,
again, like, with the West India Company, like, dominates that 6 million figure. Like,
well,
at least 30, 40 million Indians were massacred.
it's
Like,
it's because the Holocaust is special because it was a Holocaust of white people on white people.
yeah.
That's what makes it unique. That's the only thing that makes it unique there. Well, there was also an industrialization to it that was like particularly galling and new. But we like humanity had been doing ethnic cleansing for a long fucking time and had done much more horrific uh examples of. I mean, we were talking about it a couple weeks ago, like how we killed at least 10 million Native Americans. Just America did. And then, like, if we're
Probably a lot more than that.
yeah, and if we're counting the natives of like Central America and South America, then it's probably like 20 to 50 million if we're also talking about the entire 400-year period.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean the lengths at which colonialism has committed ethnic cleansing is pretty much. I mean, we're Kobe here. We're Kobe at killing people.
Yeah, I mean, we killed, at least a couple million in chattel slavery as well. Horrifically murdered them, would eat them, use their skin as leather, like just completely dehumanize people. I mean, at least 10 million. At least. Yeah.
Yeah,
Some
fucking
estimate to like 50 million. But
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. 10 million. From what I've read is just like Americans in just their direct actions, like
Dude,
just
honestly,
Americans.
this is something I've been talking to people about a lot lately. But even the retelling of like how slavery ended is so goddamn fucking whitewashed. Like this idea that Abraham Lincoln just had like this epiphany where he was like, let me free the slaves. That's not what fucking happened.
Yeah,
The slaves were so goddamn valuable. They broke free, man, their own ships. Like we're acting as spies, giving information to the Union, fighting for the Union. They were so fucking valuable to the Union that Abraham Lincoln had no other choice but to offer them freedom so they could keep being so fucking valuable to the Union. The slaves freed themselves. Like,
oh yeah. The slaves did free themselves. Uh, just just um just to glance over the actual like deal that was on the table. Who knows if it's still on the table? To make sure we could put some numbers in front of people. The United States of America and the Islamic Republic of Iran commit to negotiating and achieving the final deal in a maximum of 60 days. So that's a pretty tight timeline considering it's taken him like 120 days just to get this, and then he's already fucking it up. Um, Immediately upon signing, you have 30 days to remove like blockade. Um, and the United States has 30 days to remove their troops. I know one of the first things that they were trying to, or that was getting in the way was they were saying that we weren't moving our boats fast enough. Which we then were like, oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Iran. Let's move those boats faster. I'm so sorry. So I know that was one of the first things that was fucking it up. Let's see. The United States of America undertakes with regional partners to develop a definitive mutual agreed plan with at least three, at least. So this is the floor, actually. So yeah, that's another thing. At least 300 billion for the reconstruction and economic development of the Islamic Republic of Iran. The mechanisms for the implementation of this plan will be finalized as part of the final deal within 60 days.
You know what's the funniest part about this whole thing to me?
What?
Before we started the war, the women's revolution was cooking. They were crippling the Iranian economy.
Oh my god, yeah, like actually I was saying this shit to like some of the old guys at work because they love to have a debate room in our back room. But one of them was asking me, what do you think about Iran? I was like, well, I think us getting involved is actually regressive to their development. And
Yes.
yeah, I brought up the same thing. I was like, they were making strides. And they can't make strides when they're worrying about a foreign power dropping bombs on their heads.
Yeah, so the women's revolution has been going on for the past like 3-4 years in like real hardcore fashion, right?
Yeah.
And they've been making very crazy strides. And the thing that is so crippling about the war is the women refusing to participate in the economy, the women gumming up the works. Like, it leaves a lot of economic struggles, but there are some jobs that are very male dominated. Some of those jobs include oil.
Yeah.
And so now you created oil scarcity. You gave them a lever to control oil through, and now they don't have to rely on the women. Now women can't go out in the streets and fucking protest because they're worrying about bombs dropping on their kids' elementary school. You know? Like, you literally completely eliminated this revolution already going on in their country that was decimating their economy and was about to force them to do something.
I mean,
you know?
yeah, they had done like a month-long internet blackout in the country. What, just last year? Just last year to try and stop the swaths of protests? Those protests aren't happening now that they have a unionized enemy. There's a bigger deal than their government right now. There's a bigger deal, and it's us. We're the bigger bad guy now. So it stalls shit out. I gotta pull my water off the stove. Stall!
It reminds me of when America went to World War I. There was a lot of issues going on with workers' rights in World War I. There were company towns and all this shit going on, especially in like coal and different industries, right? So company towns were where the company owns everything in the town. They don't even pay you real money. They pay you like company tender. So you can buy shit in the town, but like if you were to move or lose your job, like you can't even use that money anywhere else, right? And so there was a big issue with all this stuff. Unions were starting to form. There were starting to be skirmishes. World War One started, and America kind of united and was like, okay, we have a common enemy. We're not going to fight against the capitalists right now. We're going to go fight war. And then they came home, and that's when, like, the Battle of Blair Mountain and this shit happened, is because they came home and still company towns were going on, still workers' rights were being violated. So then they came together and they tried to fight against it. But the issue was war caused development. Now they have airplanes, now they have these other weapons, they're dropping tear gas, they're doing all this other shit. The people could no longer sustain an uprising in such small numbers, and they ended up getting quashed, right? And it's the same thing I feel like in Iran is this war gave the government the ability to regain financial control, to regain control of other areas, and now when they restart the uprising, Iran's going to be able to quash it so much easier because they have so much more shit on their side. So it's just
not just that, but culturally, they get to like distract because now they'll be like, whoa, 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 let's talk. They might even be able to quell uprising, but go, whoa, 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 yeah, we can talk about that, but later, right now, America.
Yeah. And again, like in Blair Mountain, what happened is the army showed up and all the coal miner workers were like, we're not going to shoot the military because we just served with them in World War One.
Yeah.
We understand them. Like, we're not about to... We were fine killing the fucking mercenaries and shit hired by the coal factories, but we're not about to shoot the American military we just fucking served on. It's going to be the same shit. People are not going to be willing to fight against the Iranian military.
You instill patriotism in them. You instill patriotism when you create
exactly,
an enemy.
when you just instilled them with patriotism. They're not going to be willing to do that. The same moral police or whatever that they were so willing to run up and throw hands on, they're not going to be willing to do that anymore.
Yeah, that same guy's the guy who helped you against the terrorists bombing their country. That's the same guy who's provided shelter and defense to you and your children.
Yeah. So now it's a totally different dynamic. It stops these people from being the evil people they were, and now they're the good guys in the average person's eyes. So it's like you just totally quelled any chance of that women's revolution. Like I said, it's going to come back, and much like the coal miners' revolution came back after World War One, it is now going to get quashed no matter what, because now they are so much better prepared for this.
Yeah, you set this revolutionary moment for the people of Iran back at least 5 years.
Yeah.
They were like getting actual like demands met. Like the women had back in 22 regained the right to wear whatever they want in public.
Yep.
Like it was super rapid. They were getting concessions left and right.
And it was a beautiful thing. You saw women in full hijabi guard fighting for women that had their hair out, and it was just like a beautiful conglomeration of all women coming together to fight against the Iranian regime. It was such women's-led revolutions have also historically been bangers that lead to fantastic outcomes, and this was going to be one of them, you know?
Yeah, and it's just more secular development of countries just simply can only happen during peacetime.
Yeah.
So I think the same shit kind of happened with Venezuela, even though that's not a religious foundation of the kind of dictatorial aspects of their country. Like, was us going in, bombing 6 major civilian infrastructural points, and then kidnapping, even if you want to accept that he was an unpopular leader, did that make his regime more or less popular? When his president or vice president immediately stepped in and was like, we will seek revenge on America. We will get Maduro back.
I mean, you can see it with the Kamala Harris election, is people hate the idea of not having choice. The fact that the Democrats did not run a primary and they went with Kamala, it was fucking devastating. People fucking hated that. People hate when they feel like they do not get a say in how their country is being run, you know? And
Yep.
so when they just went, oh, we're going with Kamala, Sleepy Joe's out, everyone threw a fucking pissy fit over it. And, like, a lot has to do with, obviously, their misogyny and shit, but it's not just that. I think a lot of it is also the fact that people really value even having a pretend say in government.
I do think it also was that she was just they mismanaged her campaign to such an insane degree by having her take this centrist position to try and scoop up never Trump voters, and like clearly to a disastrous result, because before Kamala had ever taken stage and said a thing, she was like beating Trump in polls, and then the moment she fucking opened her mouth, it was like, oh wait, no, fuck, she sucks.
Dude, I don't know why every politician is so fucking goddamn bitch made. I was telling my friend this the other day. Like, theoretically, if I got elected to be mayor of my city, I would obviously try and go through legal means first. But when the capitalists and when the federal government made it clear that, like, for example, I could not legally get rid of the data center in my city, I would get on public television, I would get out in the streets, and I would tell the people of my city, you have my permission to burn that building down. I will not persecute any of you. I will tell the police to stand down. I will tell the firefighters to watch it burn. Like,
I don't think the mayor has that authority, but I understand the sentiment.
but that's the
Yeah,
thing,
no,
though.
no, you should be like, well, it's out of
Well,
our hands legally, so wink, wink, nod, nod. Some
the
things
mayor
have to be
doesn't
done.
have that ability except for when we firebomb a move building in Philadelphia. Then the mayor has the ability to say, let that shit burn, shoot at fucking children as they run out. So bullshit. The mayor has that ability.
Well, the mayor has different powers in different areas. I don't know Memphis's mayoral ability, because people point this out with like Zora Mamdani. New York's mayor as a position has a lot more authorities than a lot of other cities' mayors, so he gets to do a lot more. Whereas in other places like where I am, the mayor doesn't do shit. It's like it's a city council position that is meaningless. It's not even elected, it's appointed from within the city council, and it's just the figurehead of the city council. So like the mayor is inconsistent is all I'm saying in their powers.
Yeah.
But I also fully agree with your sentiment that if you're in charge of an area and be like, we tried to stop them in the courts, we did not approve them, they're building anyways, do what you have to do, my people.
Yeah, I would be like I would ultimately get arrested super quickly, but like also, FedEx is here, a lot of Israeli airships come through here, a lot of aid that goes to Israel comes through here. We have the trains here. I would straight up say, yeah, Israeli goods are not coming in my city anymore. Like, yeah. And I would tell the people again, I would be like, please, if you see an Israeli airship come down and you work at FedEx, refuse to service it. Refuse. You know?
Well, this is one of those things with why, from the core of how we develop like real political growth. Of course, it helps to have people be elected, but the real core is unions, because what is one of the easiest ways to not service particular entities at these airfields? The
Yeah.
unions have the strength to say no.
Exactly, yeah. If FedEx was unionized, the union could come together and they could say, we are demanding you divest from Israel. We will not work for this company unless you divest from Israel. You know?
Nothing will move. You can either choose to lose business with these people or lose business with everyone, because we're going to start sitting around.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's crazy. I'm surprised there's not a bigger revolutionary movement in Memphis because, of that, we have such transportation. We are like the heartland of transportation in America. Two biggest railroads. We have FedEx. We have the one fucking river that goes through the whole country, and we have the one bridge access that goes over that river.
Yeah.
We are the hub for transportation. You know, if just like 100 people in this city got together, how easy it would be to cause serious fucking financial issues?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
No, yeah, people organizing in strikes that like real strikes that actually create economic hardship, because a strike is ineffectual under a capitalist system if it's not costing someone money.
Yeah. I
So,
mean, you could simply block the access points to the FedEx building. Boom. Millions of fucking dollars. Every hour you stand there, probably millions of dollars.
yeah, this Strait of Hormuz blockage that Iran is doing should honestly be inspirational to all Americans who
Yes.
wish to, because look, they've got us over a barrel. They're being offered $500 billion in total package of material at minimum. And it's all because they're just blocking an economic pathway.
Yeah. And we need to be utilizing the same fucking strategies. You can find easily where the biggest trade hubs in our country are, and you could easily get some people together and go, yeah, we're blocking this shit. Until you do what the fuck we say, we're blocking this shit. Oh, arrest us? That's cool. We got more people waiting. They're gonna block it tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know?
You can if you have the numbers of people willing to do that, then it immediately becomes a situation where the government then has two choices. They can concede, or they can literally start enslaving people.
Yeah. I mean,
And one
that's
of those is going to radicalize more people pretty quickly, and eventually you run out of people to do the enslaving.
That's why I couldn't be in political office, though. Like I said, if I was elected to mayor, and then the second I could not get things done through legal means, I would be out in the streets literally just telling my people, hey, we're doing this. We're doing this. The American government has no fucking say. They rape our fucking city. They use all our city for transportation. They use it for AI. They use it for all these economic things. Meanwhile, we starve. We produce more income than almost any other city in the fucking country. Look at us. We're poor as fuck. We're not doing it anymore. Come join me. You know, I would just immediately stop even trying to function through legal means. It would just be, all right, come join your mayor. And I would talk to the police chiefs and the firefighters and everyone and say, y'all need to fuck off. Like, either arrest me or fuck off. Those are your two choices.
Yeah, this is why, I mean, though, like, that confrontational means between states and the government, and more specifically the people of those states and the government, does need to be more integral to the design of the power structure. Like I said, I think there should be a level of coercive power that each state has over one another and the government that is lacking right now.
Yeah. I mean, we've completely conceded those powers. You know,
Yeah.
we, the American people, and slowly we lose grip of the ability to have those powers. As we continue in technological advancement, as they replace with AI and other technologies, we, the people, lose our access to constrict them through peaceful means. We are losing our ability to peacefully gum up the works and to act as nonviolent agitators. And we're slowly, steadily being knocked into a corner where violence is the only option. Because eventually, we won't be able to have the economic impact where we can just say, like, oh, we're not participating. Okay, cool. We have AI, we have robots, we have all this shit. We've
Yeah, I
replaced you
mean,
guys with the
I
workforce.
think that's why, honestly, part of why so many of these rich people are so fervently investing in AI is part of the conspiracies that they know that the disparity right now, I mean, it's so much worse than it's ever been between the top and the bottom in this country. like, or and really, I think any country or any group throughout history. Like, I think I saw a thing that at this point the only level of disparity that was greater would have been like between pharaohs and their like disciples.
Dude, we have equal disparity to literal fucking feudalism.
Yeah, like where they're at kings and peasants already, and but like we're
The way peasants got months off of work when crops weren't growing.
yeah,
You know?
and
Like
in some ways it's yeah, it's much worse than
we
kings and peasants.
we literally have a worse economic disparity, I would argue, than deadass fucking feudalism where peasants were enslaved to a king. Like
And
straight up.
I think all these technogarchs, um, they know that. They know that this can only be weighed down so long before it snaps back at them, and they know that they probably only have months to years before it crashes down on them, and they need to be able to remove any lever of power that we could possibly seize. And they not only need to be able to seize those levers of power from us, but they also need to be able to then create defensive systems that are independent of people that can protect them. So they all need their own independent robot death squads and robot slave forces.
Oh, and it's crazy too. The FBI has been contacting so many people I know on social media and like showing up to their houses. I've straight up actually I was informed that I've been reported to the FBI by people. And it's like this is where we're at, where freedom of speech is just at absolute peril. You know?
Oh,
Like the
is
things
this
I
over
say.
the thing where like talking negatively about AI is now considered terrorism?
Well, it's just, talking about leftist reform. Leftism is considered a terrorist group now.
Oh yeah,
So,
yeah, it has been since day one of Trump taking office. He fucking like did that
and
shit.
it's not even like hardcore leftists, like literal liberals are being put on domestic terrorist lists. It's not even hardcore leftists. So, it's crazy. I know, like I said, I know people on Instagram who woke up one day and there are 4 fucking FBI agents at their door trying to talk with them.
U.S. law enforcement warns of anti-tech extremism as AI hatred grows.
It's not extremism. This is what I mean.
Yeah,
Capitalist law defines fucking violence, okay? You know what's extreme? Putting a data center somewhere where literally 90% of the population doesn't want it, raping their fucking air so people get asthma at astonishing rates, lung cancer at astonishing rates. We have the worst fucking air quality ever.
poisoning our
Raping
water. Yeah,
sources, one of the only actual clean water sources in the entire country, not recycling it, just fucking trashing it. And guess what? For half the cost the average person pays. The average person
driving your
subsidizes
costs
that.
up too because they
Yeah.
count it as increased demand. Also, your power bills go up because of it because
Yes.
one small data center pulls the same amount of power as 24,000 homes. A
Yeah.
small one.
That's fucking extremism. Burning that building down is called normal fucking human emotions. It's called being a normal fucking human being.
It's
This is
self-defense. It's self-defense,
yes.
honestly.
All this shit I talk about that's quote unquote violence, I disagree. It is not violence, it is self defense.
Yeah, you're right. They get to define what is violence because uh you can we talked about this a couple weeks ago when we were talking about social violence too. How more countries need to be talking about social violence and punishing people for social violence, and how like in Vietnam they executed that billionaire for stealing money from the government. And it's like, well, she did social violence because she stole money in a country that where their government actually saves people. So that's money that by stealing it, you killed people by doing that. That's people that didn't get food, that didn't get
Oh.
health care.
Actually, let me send you this video real quick. We should watch this. I'm about to send it to you right now. Dude, this video is insane. It's a comparison of what America spent $4 trillion on versus what China has spent $4 trillion on. And it's like one of the most ridiculous is like, yeah, we need to be fucking executing people for this, you know?
Yeah.
Alright, I just sent it.
I mean,
Let's watch that fucking video.
yeah, fuck. I mean, one of the biggest ones to me is just like the comparison of Chinese rail versus like
It's so
California's rail, which still doesn't even exist.
So much. Because $4 trillion is so much fucking money, and that's how much we've spent on these wars in the Middle East. But yeah, let's.
Muted.
And this is what China spent $4 trillion on. The world's largest high-speed rail system at 50,000 kilometers. The massive...
Yeah, their rail system, oh, dude, it chubs me up. Oh, the rails. Oh my god. It's like the wonderful in-shape veins of an athlete's heart.
Three Gorges Dam, the world's largest hydropower dam. 200 new airports. The world's largest 5G network with more towers than the rest of the world combined. Over 40 million units of affordable...
And you know what? Okay, the affordable housing one, fuck American propaganda on this shit. How they constantly try to be like, China's building fake cities that are all empty to just, I don't know, scam the world? I don't even understand the narrative on that. They're faking success. And it's like, no, they just pre-anticipated demand as they were educating and empowering people that lived in impoverished areas, and also recognize that they can't survive having a country that's a huge ass rurality like America because it's inefficient and not cost effective. So they built these cities and then encouraged people to move to them. All these cities are full of people now, and it's cheap as shit. Home ownership in China, you people are getting their first homes at 22. 22!
By the way, 93% of Chinese people own a home, okay? And guess what's another thing? There is no such thing as property tax in China. You own that home and you pay $0 forever now.
Well, to be slightly transparent, technically you can't own a home in China. You lease it for 100 years. But I think that's pedantry, to be honest. That's home ownership. And it eliminates all the negative sides of home ownership here in America, which is that no one can actually own anything. Because it's all overpriced.
You buy it, there's no property tax, there's no nothing. You bought it. When you tell a Chinese person about property tax, they look at you like you're insane. They're like, wait, so one, you had to buy this house not from the state, but from like a bank or a capital owner, and they upcharge you on it. You pay interest on that, and then once you're done paying the interest, now you have to pay a property tax every year?
Oh no, you pay the property tax while you're paying the interest.
Yeah, you have to pay both. Yeah. But you have to pay the property tax forever.
Yeah. No, and I'm sorry, I'll take that trade if I could have owned a home 9 years ago. Like, you know what the first-time home ownership rate in America is at this point? What age most Americans are getting their first time, like the median? The median. It's 42.
I bet it's so young in China. Literally 93% of Chinese people own
It's 22 to 23 in China. It's 22 to 23. I know this shit already because I'm so mad about homes all the time. Because I'm always trying to find a home to buy. I save like a fucking nut job. You know that, right? Like, I save money like an insane person. I have not bought new clothes ever.
Yeah, so once the average age for someone like paying off their home and actually officially fully owning it is 29 years old in China.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they get that home at like 22, 23, and then have it paid off in 5 to 6 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the reality of China. Meanwhile, in America, you start at 40, and it's a 30-year mortgage, so realistically you're not paying it off until you fucking die. It's bullshit. And the lease system is honestly such a simple, perfect system to implement while you're still operating in a faux capitalist system like they are, for competitive requirement. Because, like, you wouldn't be able to mass buy up properties in America if you knew that they were all going to just expire one day. And that you wouldn't be able to generationally accumulate property.
Dude, I also hate this critique of China that they're like faux capitalists. How the fuck do you think a society is supposed to compete against the imperialist core without implementing some capitalist
I don't say it
strategies?
as a critique. I think they're winning. They're masters at it. They're so good. They're goated. Their planned economy, it gives me tingly feelings. Like,
until we're fucking gone, they have to do this. So yes, I would consider them socialist, because what the fuck else are they supposed to do?
yeah, they saw what happened to the Soviet Union.
Yeah, and every other goddamn, even Cuba. Cuba was the last, like, quote unquote, truly socialist country. We surrounded the island with fucking Navy vessels and didn't let a singular ship to the fucking island. They got starved of energy, food, and everything that they import.
Yeah, they're currently withering away because of us right now.
Yeah, and now guess what they did? They made capitalist reforms so their economy looks a lot more like China, and we went, okay, we'll ease up.
And on top of that, anyone who gave them aid, we're going to try to arrest them.
Yeah. It's so fucking absurd,
It's
dude.
absurd. Yeah, it makes me angry.
Housing 100 million low-income residents. Built the longest 50-kilometer bridge over water. Built the world's most...
Dude, that bridge is so impressive, too. I actually watched a thing when it was constructed. That shit is sci-fi.
They're not even halfway through what we spent on bombing children.
Yeah. No, okay, and the reactors. Oh my god. I am trying to invest in Chinese nuclear right now. I'm trying to find a way to do it. It's just like there's not a clear option to invest in Chinese nuclear. China has more in-progress constructions of nuclear. They already have the most nuclear reactors in the world, right? You know who's number 2? Japan. Currently, China has in development, just the ones that are in development, more reactors than Japan has total.
Oh, China has us cucked on energy, dude.
Yeah.
They have the most wind energy, they have the largest solar farms, they have the most hydro energy, they have the most nuclear energy.
They took that BRICS shit to heart. They were like, oh yeah, we're gonna make sure we don't have to rely on oil ever again.
No, this whole Hormuz Strait shit, you know what it really fucking revealed? That China doesn't have to worry about this shit for one singular fucking second.
It did stall out their stock market, I'll say, because most of my stocks are Chinese. Their stocks have stalled out, but like,
that's because their stocks are actually based on production and not speculation.
Yeah, a lot of that, because, so while they weren't affected by the oil side as harshly, what was happening with trade constrictions were other things weren't getting through, because the oil companies were paying to get ahead of the line. So it kept pushing non-oil vessels to the back of the line. So pretty much all non-oil things also got hurt, not just because of oil, but because they couldn't transport anything through the strait that wasn't oil, too. Basically, only oil has been moving through the strait for the last 4 months.
Nuclear reactors generating 23,000 megawatts of energy. Built the world's most advanced electrical grid. The entire Belt and Road project, ports, railways, and roads in over 140 countries. Over 2 billion solar panels, including the world's...
Solar! I'm solar gasming! Oh my god!
Look at that solar farm, dude.
Oh my god, and did you see their water one that they just unveiled? Oh.
We'll talk about it.
largest solar farm, built a fully operational space station, landed a rover on Mars, and became the first country to receive samples from the far side of the moon. A 2,700-mile canal system, the largest water diversion project ever built. Chelan, an entire high-tech city built from scratch. 7,700 offshore wind turbines generating 50% of the world's wind power. The Green Great Wall, which planted over...
Oh, I was actually about to say, is he not going to mention the Green Great Wall? Because I was about to say, if he doesn't mention the Green Great Wall, I am. Because, oh my god, I'm a China boo. And so honestly, every one of these, I'm tingly about them. The fucking Green Great Wall, I think, is one of the most impressive and most necessary things for humanity to have done ever. Considering the climate crisis. The fact that they turned an entire goddamn desert into a forest is peak magic. They're fucking druids. They're fantasy era, like Lord of the Rings druids. They're so awesome.
Yeah, I mean, this is what you get, right? Is capitalists rape the environment. They literally, there's no other way to fucking put it. They rape the environment. They rape our fucking planet.
They plunder it. They plunder it. They abuse it. They beat it. They extract every drop of blood from that rock. And then
it is the most abused, fucked up thing on the planet. Socialists? They love that shit. They nurture the planet.
They invest in it because they know that they're going to get more out of it long term that way.
This is hilarious. It kind of ties into it. It's mostly a meme, but I'm going to send you another video that we can watch after this one.
And China built 7 of the world's top 10 busiest ports. It's kind of amazing what you can build for $4 trillion instead of spending it on war. And make sure you follow for more of these. America's...
Yeah.
I hate this country!
Yep.
Oh, fuck. And what did we get out of any of them, too? It's like, we made other people hate us. We made sure there are generations of people that will hate us forever. And what did we get out of it?
Dude, that's the craziest thing is, like, we always use terrorism and, like, extremism from other countries as, like, an excuse to do this shit. We caused all of it. We caused all of it.
Yeah, I had this conversation again with some of those old guys in the back because I brought that up. I was like, well, it's kind of our fault. And they're like, what do you mean? And it's like, well, I mean, they didn't start it. We did. We started it. And they genuinely are like, what do you mean? I'm like, what do you mean? What do I mean? You were alive for it. You're like 80. Come on, dude. Like, in the 60s, we started sabotaging the Middle East because the Soviet was gaining ground in the Middle East by offering humanitarian aid and helping to prop up secular groups and economies that were then
helping build infrastructure.
Yeah. They were being bros and making friends. The whole you attract flies with honey, not vinegar. Like, they were doing that shit, and we were like, how dare you! How dare you! Fuck all of you!
That's one of their biggest mistakes, is they put all this money into, helping these countries and being, like, good neighbors and stuff, and they just didn't expect us to be so fucking evil that we would literally fund terrorist organizations.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
Yeah, we backed the theocrats. We backed the theocrats that are in power now or were in power. Most of them got toppled in the 80s and 90s, and then were replaced with even more extreme theocrats and, like, terror orgs, basically. But we created that shit. We put in one bad guy to counter the good guys that the Soviet Union was helping.
Yeah.
And
imagine
a chain
right?
of that.
Like imagine this on, like, a small scale, right? Is, like, let's say, like, in my neighborhood, I'm, helping fund, like, food shelter outreach and, like, feeding the homeless. And then someone else, in order to stop me from gaining influence, then funds, like, a fucking psychopath who burns down food shelters.
I think actually more realistically it would be like, okay, you're spending your time getting food for the food bank and supplying shelter for homeless people, and your neighbor who fucking hates you for this for some reason, like he's just irrationally angry, he starts paying psychopathic teenagers to light homeless people on fire.
Yeah, like literally. And it's like I mean, you don't expect someone to be like that capacity of evil. Like that's literally the biggest flaw the USSR made is they just didn't expect us to be as evil as we were. Like, after World War II, they like fully did not expect us to literally just take in the Nazis and like take in Nazi scientists and take in all these Nazis from Nazi Germany and be like, we are actually giving you asylum.
Yeah,
You
because
are,
we're actually way more afraid of the communists. We
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
think you guys were Loki, right? But your ally kind of fucked shit up for you by bombing us.
yeah. So now we're gonna like, we'll take you in and we'll work with you. But yeah. It's like, come on. I don't.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Spent $4 trillion in the Middle East, and this is what China spent $4 trillion.
Dude, that loop from beginning to end was flawless. Wow.
Oh yeah, cooked with it.
Okay. What did you send me the link on of that other one?
Yeah, this one's more funny, but it kind of ties in. I can't hear it.
No, yeah,
fulfilling
can I rewind it?
sex lives where they almost always climax. We have decades of self-reported data across the world from socialist regimes of women reporting having better, more fulfilling sex lives where they almost always climax.
Yeah.
But it has to do with it because, like I said, like capitalists like rape the world. It's also like with women, like capitalists just do this in general. Like everything is owed to a capitalist. Like everything is owned by a capitalist. Whereas a socialist is like grateful to even have these experiences on the planet. Like they're like, fuck yes, the planet is giving me this shit. Let me give back. It's same thing like within relationships. Like a capitalist is just like I get to do what I want to you, like I provide, whatever, you're the woman, like whatever. Socialists are like just fucking so grateful and excited to like be with you, like they're just like, fuck yeah, like this is this relationship, this give and take, like you can choose whatever. We're gonna extend rights to you where you don't have to rely on a man. So you're with a man because you actually
like
be
the
with him.
Soviet Union beat us to women's rights by like a multiple decades, like 60 years. They beat us to the punchline by like 60 years. So I took this upper end college college course during my major. That was the history of women, non-binary and queer artists. And one of the funniest things is how small the section, or like how small our coverage of American artists was, because the American like female, queer, and non-binary artists really only started to pop up um in mass around the 60s, whereas like before that you have some documentation that you can point towards to some of these people, but these people are closeted, they're hiding. Like one of them was I forget her name, but she did like these really great paintings of horses, but she pretended to be a man to do it. Like she did male drag just so she could get away with it. She was also probably queer because she never took a husband. She had like a roommate her entire fucking life. Yeah, that shit happened all the time. Meanwhile, there wasn't just like there was a section where we covered artists in the Soviet Union, like women, queer, and non-binary artists in the Soviet Union, and it wasn't just one artist. Like we couldn't even focus on one artist. We had to like do focuses on individual artists in the Soviet Union as independent projects. For class coverage, we had to cover industries because their fashion, public art, and all that were so inundated by fervently passionate female, non-binary, and queer artists that there's too many to even focus on one for a class topic. Like, we had to
Yeah.
focus on industries. They had fucking industries of it.
And that's something too that's just missing out of capitalism is people, I'm not saying everyone works a job they love under socialism at all times, but I think it just like really steals the passion from people. And it's like rare in a capitalist society that people are passionate about what they do, Whereas socialism gives them the room to find that thing that they truly are passionate about. It gives them that breathing air where they're not working 3 jobs just to like literally afford to live. And they can like breathe for a second and try different things and figure out like, wait, I actually really vibe with this. Let me like go into this,
Yeah, and like to your point, not everyone can be so lucky that they work in something that's also a passion. But I like under a socialist structure, you at least have enough freedom that is, even if your job isn't your passion, it's tolerable for one, and it provides you with finances and free time to pursue non-job passions.
Yeah.
Because like I can't say like my job is pretty good for what it is. It could be better, especially if we're under a socialist structure. But I feel pretty blessed to have a job that is good as I have it for what it is. That allows me to have, at least for my area, fairly consistent ability to save. I have benefits that most people don't have. Like, how many people have paid sick leave and paid time off and paid insurance through their work? Especially, I work at a fucking bodega. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I work at a bodega. And I got benefits like an office, like that are better than most office jobs.
It's crazy, yeah.
So, like, thank goodness I have that. But it's not like I'm deeply passionate about making fucking deli sandwiches. But the job is tolerable.
Yeah, I mean, I just started working part-time to get like more steady income from just my business at a corporate gym, right? One of the worst experiences ever already. Like, it's so scummy, it's so bullshit. One of the craziest things is that we can see as personal trainers how much income we bring into the business, and then we get our checks, right? So like one of the personal trainers, he was like, dude, I'm gonna make so much money this paycheck. I brought in $11,000 this paycheck, And then he gets paid and he's like, I made $2,000.
Wow. So, like, less than 20%.
Yeah.
It's like that's probably like 17% commission.
I mean, how absurd would that feel? And the gyms, without you even existing, they're extremely profitable. And then they pocket $9,000 out of the $11,000 you made for them.
That's I'd say especially scummy, because it's like the gym. It's not like if you sold a car or something where there was a physical cost to part of the money. There was like not all of that money raised was actually profit.
No, but for this service, it is all profit.
Yeah, it's all
of it.
Because they except for the $2,000 they paid you. Because they could have paid you any amount, and whatever was left over would have been like, well, there was nothing without you providing a service, so.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, they already make profit off of just the gym memberships and just the fees. Us existing is just making them more profit, and that's literally it. Yeah.
Man, I hear that shit about trainers and stuff so often, and I know it's rough to do it on your own, but it's like so much more profitable. I'm shocked that no one has been able to do like a gym co-op.
Yeah.
Where you have like fees you need to pay to help maintain the gym, but other than that, like, you just take home everything.
Yeah, I mean, people have gyms like that where you can like rent out the space. It's not exactly the same, but like you rent out the space. It's just, the issue is building up the initial clientele for the most part. So like when you gain access to a commercial gym, you gain access to like their lead base, right?
Yeah.
And so the biggest initial entry is like actually finding clients in the first place. But yeah, I mean it's absurd. Like I train with my own independent, right? Like I charge $60 an hour independently, which is significantly less than they charge, by the way. They charge 80 an hour, they charge 60 a half hour. So I charge 60 an hour. So like if one client works 2 times a week with me, that's $480 a month. That's like 5 clients at the commercial gym. Literally one client where I work 8 hours a month to service them is the same as me working like 5 separate clients at the commercial gym as income.
That's fucking ridiculous.
Absurd. So yeah, it does kind of, it is like the obvious thing where like you kind of have to go independent if like you actually want to have any time and make any real money as soon as you start doing it. Because it's like, okay, yeah. I mean, when you start crunching the numbers and you're like, I have 8 clients, I made $500 off 8 clients in 2 weeks. And then you're like, wait, and I have like 3 clients independently, and I made $800 off those 3 clients. What are we talking about?
Yeah, it's absurd. That's why I'm saying, like, I understand the lead thing, but like a lot of you get those leads because they're showing up to a regular gym. I'm just
Yeah.
surprised that I'm surprised there aren't more structures where it's multiple people who are trainers that help communally fund a gym, and then they like basically are sharing, like co-op style. They're sharing in that, like, because every commercial gym fucks trainers like that.
This is what I would really fuck with if it existed, is a gym where the personal trainer is guaranteed to you when you sign up. So like you sign up for not only a gym membership, but also a personal trainer that you meet with like once a week that gives you a program to work out with on your own, gives you nutrition advice, gives you all that, right? And it just kind of like provides you with the structure to actually succeed. Because overall, gyms are like scams basically, because they know for a fact that you don't have the knowledge or the time to find the knowledge or anything. They know that you're going to sign up and you're never going to show up. They bank on that idea, right?
Yeah.
So it would actually be, even if it was a lot more money, like it would be such a better concept if there was a gym where when you sign up, you get assigned a personal trainer as well. And that personal trainer oversees your accountability, oversees your progress, oversees everything to guarantee you success, guarantee you that you are going to show up and make progress.
Not exactly the same, but I have been tempted. There's a new small gym that opened up around the corner from me. Like seriously, like 10-minute walk at most. Like honestly, more realistically, like 5-minute walk. But it has like 5 different membership packages. One of them is just 24-hour access to their gym. I think that one is like $50 a month or something. And then for $20 more a month, you get also access, I think, to its 2 group classes per week, along with the other. And then there's one that's like $90 a month, and it's like 3 or 4 group classes. And then there's one that's like $120 a month, and it includes 1 train, like personal train per week, and 5 group classes per week.
Yeah. That's one of the craziest things too, working as a personal trainer, is seeing like the difference in quality of service. Like I give all of my clients their own individual notebook. No matter how many days a week you actually work with me in person, all of your workouts are programmed for you. I track your progress. I ensure you're increasing in weights and repetition. I help you with diet strategies consistently, even when you're not working with me. And it's crazy to me that there's so many personal trainers where like you come in for 30 minutes and I put you through a hard workout for 30 minutes, and like, you're not my problem until next week when I see you again for 30 minutes. Like, I don't care what you do outside of here, you know? It's so absurd to me that that's even like how that works. It's just, I feel like that's the thing as a personal trainer is you're meant to guarantee progress if people actually follow your program, you know?
I would agree too, because if you're just running people through like a gambit, why didn't I just look up a YouTube video?
Literally, yeah. Like, what's the fucking difference? I could have chat GPT'd hard ass workout, hard ass 30-minute workout, and just ran that shit, you know?
Yeah. Now
And maybe it's like slightly more optimal or something, but in the long run, what the fuck does it even matter if literally all you're doing for me is a 30-minute workout and then I'm just like on my own?
I've never liked group class things, but like Gabby really likes group class things, and her explanation of that is mostly that it just helps her actually do it because she's just not as like motivated to like personally do something, whereas like just being part of a group routine thing is easier and
Yeah.
like actually make sure that she does something. Which I get that. It's just like I more prefer to just like do a thing.
Yeah. No, I think the group classes, I would say my biggest critique of them is that most of the time they're just not very well programmed. They're very gimmicky, right? So it's like something like yoga's fine because you're fully aware you're not going to get like jacked off yoga, right? Like yoga is for flexibility, it's not for like strength and conditioning, right? But when we talk about like these HIIT classes and stuff, like you're lifting such small weights in a way where you will never gain a meaningful amount of muscle off of doing these classes. And I think that's a real issue is that where having these people sign up to these classes and they expect to make this progress, like they lose weight and they gain muscle. And it's all in a scammy sense. It's no difference than if you just ran outside for 40 minutes really hard. That's
Yeah.
basically what you just did, you know? But we act like it's like this where, you know, we called it things like beach bodybuilder. It's not a fucking beach bodybuilder. It's a, you know, high intensity cardio increaser, but that's it. You know, you're never going to gain any meaningful amount of muscle off of lifting this 5 pounds like you are. There's no choice.
Yeah, I think historically that's why the most popular group session things have always just been like what like the biking ones and the I don't know, like dance. I know they have real word names, but I don't know what they're fucking called. Like the bike
Yeah,
ones, the dance ones, the Pilates or something.
yeah.
Things like
But
that.
also, women tend to be a lot more into it, and I think for a large part it's because it like gives them a sense of community, which I think is really good. But
Yeah, yeah. And like I said, if it's hard for you to just like make yourself go through a routine, it takes a mental weight off of like, even if it's not personalized, of just doing physical activity. Like,
yeah,
you can't
100%.
bring yourself to just go run. You can't bring yourself to just go do a set. But if you show up to a group, you can't just stand there in the group. You get social pressured into participating because you showed up and stuff. And it's a
Yeah,
routine. So that, like, I get all that too, yeah. But yeah, if for a personal trainer thing, if I got ran through a gauntlet and that's it, I'd be pretty annoyed. I'd just be like,
yeah.
okay, thank you, Doctor YouTube. I'll just use YouTube next time.
Yeah, it really, really bothers me the quality, especially because we charge so much, like I said. And it's too like I see people do exercises where it's like a core curl into a shoulder press, and I'm like, you know how much stronger your shoulder is than your bicep? Like, how does this make sense to you as a trainer? Why are you having someone do this exercise? What about this
What like
that
so
makes
you
you think?
curl up and then press up into the shoulder press?
Yeah, so it's like curl shoulder press. It's like your bicep is just going to give out first. There's literally no way it wouldn't. This is just a bicep exercise. You're not going to get any sort of sufficient stimulus from that press. It's just a wasted movement.
Yeah, I've never understood the ones that are like I guess you'd call it like not full body, but like multiple component ones, because yeah, I always get tired on one part of the movement first, and then I'm just
Yes.
doing the other part. So then it's like, okay, I basically did, yeah, like you said, a curl, and now I'm just doing shoulder presses because I can't do any more curls.
Or like, yeah, I see like a lunge and a curl or something. You know how absurd it is to try and train a massive muscle like your legs with the same weight you're training your fucking biceps with? You know how fucking stupid that is, dude? Like, that shit pisses me off so much when I see trainers do that. I'm like, you are scamming people. You are taking advantage of the fact that people do not know any better. They don't know about exercise, and you're fucking scamming them, showing a bunch of different fucking exercises instead of doing the same basic ones and ensuring they progress on it, because you want them to keep them confused. You want them to feel like they need you. You want them to feel like you provide them with something new they can't learn on their own. I have the exact opposite approach. If I train you for more than 6 months, and you need me for anything besides accountability, I've failed. You should have the knowledge to go work out on your own and make great success. The only thing you should need me for is accountability and intensity after 6 months. You should be able to literally go work out on your own, make progress, be fine. The only reason you want to keep hiring me is because like you feel like you're not actually going to show up to the gym and you're not actually going to push yourself. That's the only thing you should need me for after 6 months.
Yeah, I mean, I've said this before. I think a lot of that shit you get away with it too, because like it, unless you're at the peak of athleticism, just doing anything is gonna matter more than not doing things.
Yeah.
So you just get away with it. You just get away
I
with
mean,
it.
also, that's just the simplest thing that people won't be honest about is literally consistency trumps everything. I mean, you see it in commercial gym people all the time doing the stupidest fucking workouts you've seen in your entire life, and they're jacked. And then you go talk to them, and it's like, yeah, I've been consistently working out 3 times a week for 15 years. That's why they're jacked. It has literally nothing to do with what they're doing. They could be an absolute moron when it comes to exercise. But they've just been showing up to the gym 3 times a week for 15 years straight and not eating like a jackass. And so they look
yeah,
jacked.
you see that with people that just have like athletic hobbies too. Like fucking this one, you ever watch I Did a Thing?
Mm-mm.
He's an Australian YouTuber. He's really cool. I love him. He's good friends with Boy Boy, who does like kind of these um documentaries slash investigative journalist type things that are pretty left coded. If you haven't seen Boy Boy, you need to watch Boy Boy. I Did a Thing is more memes. He's kind of like an engineering guy who builds stuff, but dude is jacked and he doesn't do anything like workout wise really. It's just he's like ADHD as hell, so he's never not moving. His hobbies are like he spear fishes, so he's swimming around all the time, spear fishing like like invasive species. And then he also does engineering stuff where he's not working with like machines, but it's just hands all the time. So he's fucking like just moving heavy pieces of metal and stuff. So he's just he looks shredded, and he doesn't do anything workout wise.
Yeah. I mean, that's literally it, is just fucking consistency, and that's 99% of fitness. In order to get, like, to the point where you want to be for the average person. Now, if you want to get, like, bodybuilder size, it's more nuanced than that, you know? But if you just want to get, like, that athletic look, if you just don't want to get that look where it's like, oh, I can tell this person works out, and then they take their shirt off and they, like, have abs and shit, and they're like, damn, that person's in really good shape. Legitimate, dude, if you train with a bodybuilding style, like I've been lifting weights for what, 15 months now, and I'm already at that point where it's like that athletic look, you know, where it's like you can see my arms in a shirt and shit. So it's like if you follow it with a science-based approach, it's not even like consistency long term. It's like literally a year and you'll get the look that you want.
I
You
mean,
know?
that's how like celebrities who have money to throw at regimes get ripped for a movie in like less than a year
Yeah.
all the time.
Like it's just yeah, if like you actually take a scientific approach like I do where you ensure you're making weekly progress, you ensure that something is changing every single week and you're providing a harder stimulus to your body, then it's literally like a fucking year. Yeah. But even if you're training like a jackass, maybe it's 5 years, but you're still gonna get that look. Like,
Yeah, because what is it? You make incremental progress even on like one set per week
yeah.
or something.
I either add, it depends on which rep scheme I'm going with. If I go for low reps, then I do what I call like the completion method. I don't know what I would call it, but basically it's like, let's say I'm doing 4 reps per set, right? What I would do is I would leave 1 rep in the tank and I would wait until that 4th rep moves similarly to the first rep. So it's like truly I have at least 1 rep in the tank, where it's that last rep is not a grinder, and then I increase the weight, and now the last rep is probably a grinder. And then I do the same weight until that 4th rep is moving at a similar speed where it's not a grinder. It's not like, holy shit, I can barely do this 4th rep. As soon as the 4th rep is easy enough where it's not like, holy shit, I can barely do this, move up weight. And then there's another way, which is called the double progression method, which is if you're doing higher reps, and I utilize that for that. So let's say you're doing like 8 to 12 reps, right? 1 week, let's say you moved up the weight and now you can only do 8 reps. Next session, you're doing 9 reps. Next session, you're doing 10 reps. Next
So
session,
this
you're
is for
moving
with
up the weight again.
lower weight. You're moving up reps on lower weight instead of weight.
Yeah, and then after you move up a couple reps, so you pick a rep range. So let's say 8 to 12. Okay, now I'm doing 9 reps, now I'm doing 10 reps, now I'm doing 11 reps, now I'm doing 12 reps, move up the weight. Okay, I can only do 8 reps again. Now let me get a 9th rep, now let me get a 10th rep, now let me get an 11th rep, let me get a 12th rep, move up weight. But also, like, progress is more nuanced than that because rep speed is also progress. So let's say I can only do 8 reps, and next session I can only do 8 reps, but the 8th rep is easier. That's progress.
Mm-hmm.
You made progress.
I had
You know?
never thought about it until you had mentioned it. I don't know, maybe like a month ago or something about velocity.
Mm,
And I realized I had never really thought about that. And I started, and I'd like looked up an article and read about it just because you had mentioned it. And started doing it when I do like squats and push-ups where I'm trying explosively go up, like on the
yeah,
up motion, instead of maintaining the same like consistent slow speed on both ends.
yeah.
And especially on push-ups, I'll say that feels wildly more effective when you shoot up as fast as you can. Just like push
Not
it as hard as you can upwards.
not enough people do that. I mean, I find it so crazy to me how slow people lift their weights. And I'm like, dude, if like something was on my chest and I was trying to get it off my chest, I would push it with all the fucking force I have. And that's how you should be treating it when you're doing a push up or a bench press or something. I don't care how much weight is on that bar. It can be 135 pounds, it can be 225 pounds. You should be pushing that motherfucker with all your goddamn might off of your chest. Every single repetition.
Yeah,
You
like
know?
I
And
might have
then
been
roll it on the way down.
yeah,
Like,
I might have been building some muscular endurance or something, but like I was talking about how I felt like I was pretty much stalled out on push-ups. Whereas like they're easier, but I still wear out around the same amount. And yeah, it's just because I'd be really I would take my time because I'd been going on the ethos of time under tension, where it's like you don't you just what counts is how long you're in the tension state. So I'm just gonna take my time with each up and down, like take a good 2 seconds down, 2 seconds up, 2 seconds down, 2 seconds up, like make sure I'm real steady and slow. And uh Yeah, I think that just makes my muscles tired before it actually pushes them.
Dude, this is the thing. This is the number one fitness myth that needs to fucking die. Is that anything causes muscle growth besides mechanical tension? There is one fucking thing that causes muscle growth, and it is mechanical fucking tension. Mechanical tension is highest when there is involuntarily slowing of muscle contraction. So, what should you be doing? You should be trying to move as fast as possible until that muscle is involuntarily moving slower. And now you have reached a high threshold of mechanical tension and your muscle will grow. Fucking period. That's it. None of this bullshit of purposefully moving slow, doing any of this fuckery, holding weights for long. None of it fucking matters. What matters is mechanical tension. Boom.
Yeah.
You just solved muscle growth.
I'll say taking that change immediately felt different when especially in anything arm related. Like my biceps would cook so much faster when I came up fast.
Yeah. I mean, it's just one of the things that I find so funny that everyone does is they think it's time under tension, or they think like soreness is an indicator of muscle growth, or all these things. Soreness has fuck all to do with muscle growth. Literally has fuck all to do with
A
muscle.
couple of weeks ago, would you call it calcium storming or something when I was talking about
Calcium ions, they flood into your muscles. So this
Yeah.
can happen from deep stretch. This can happen from lifting weights. This can happen for a variety of factors, and it's one of the main contributors to soreness. People, like if I stretch really deep, the stretch-mediated calcium ions will flood into a muscle. It will cause the muscle to be sore. Did I just grow the muscle from stretching? No. Fuck no, I didn't. Like,
Yeah.
not at all.
I lowered the total number of reps I was doing for squats, but have been doing them more throughout the week instead of doing like 30 at a time, like 2 times a week. I've just started doing like 20 every single day with the lower
Yeah.
weight. And even though that's only like 10 less, I'm never sore on it now. And
Yeah.
Another thing is like it makes my knees feel good. It just makes my knees feel good. Part
Dude,
of the
there's
reason I also was going with the lower weight is just because since I'm just using, like, I don't have a rack or anything, I'm just using a bar. I didn't want to stress out my shoulder by having to lift because I normally squat with like all the weight I have.
yeah.
I didn't want to have to lift that over with my shoulders and stress out my shoulder.
Yeah. No, I mean, there's a lot of ways you can make squats harder too. I do a lot of body weight squat exercises, like reverse Nordics, assisted reverse Nordics, whatever, assisted pistol squats, whatever. I'm actually working on a full at-home workout guide. It's the most comprehensive guide I've ever done, so it's taking me forever because for each individual exercise, I am filming like progression and regression videos. So like, okay, a push-up, for example. I put in the program push-up variation. And what that means is whatever push-up variation you can do that is either easier than a push-up or harder than a push-up, depending on your skill level. So I am filming like 15 different fucking videos for each exercise because push-up. Now it's every single regression possible for a push-up, all the way down to a very fucking basic level where you can be like extremely out of shape and do it, or every single progression from a push-up where you can be like a fucking Olympic athlete and this push-up is still going to be really fucking hard for you to do, you know? So I'm having to film videos on how to do them and videos of me doing them for all the progressions and regressions for pull-ups, push-ups, squat variations, reverse Nordics, Nordic curls, fucking hip thrust variation, everything. And it's all at home exercise. It's all body weight exercises. The only thing that I say is essential in the workout program is some sort of leveling block to stand on, a pull-up bar, and some sort of either dips or TRX bands, and a Nordic curl doorstop. So like a total of less than $100 fully, you could spend on all the equipment probably and get it, and you could
Man,
make
I got
progress.
a bar to be able to do like basically a pull-up bar you could put anywhere in the door so that I could
Yeah,
do other things other than just like pull-ups with it. Like dips and whatnot. Um Tragically, so I don't know if I've ever said that, the doors in my apartment are not normal sized.
yeah.
The bar is too big. It like goes in the doorway via tension. It's too wide. The bar is too wide for any of my doors because all my doors are skinnier than normal doors.
You know what you need to get is parallettes, dude.
Parallettes.
Yeah, parallettes that you can do dips on them, you can do handstands on them, you can do all that shit on them. And even too, you can like sit on the ground like crisscross applesauce and do pull-ups on them. If you get tall parallettes. A lot of parallettes are only like an inch off the ground, but if you get some that are like actually tall up in the air, then yeah, I'm gonna go
I've seen
quick.
these. Okay, yeah.
You fill the void. I'm going to the bathroom.
Yeah, this shit was tragic because I bought it specifically so I could do other exercises that are supposed to help build up to pull-ups. Because honestly, like, um, I just can't do enough pull-ups in a row to get any progress. I can do like 3 pull-ups. Um, and like I could do way more chin-ups, but like a pull up I could only do like 3. If I'm really feeling myself, sometimes I can get like 5 in, but I never get any progress on the pull-ups. So I've been trying, or I got the bar so that I could do different variations that are supposed to help build up to a pull-up. I forget what a lot of these exercises are called because I don't really like learn the names of the exercise when I look them up. I just look up how to do them and what they're doing. Um, but yeah, unfortunately the bar doesn't fit. So I was like, God damn it, wasted. Luckily it was cheap. The bar was like, I don't know, $20. So I'm keeping the bar just because eventually I'll have somewhere I can use it. Um, but yeah, I still just mostly do my weights. I'd say like Sky was talking about regression forms of push-ups. I think my favorite thing about body weight exercises is that you could do regressive forms, not only to build up to those harder forms, but as so like when I do push-ups, I always start with normal push-ups and then I'll maybe do like kind of those like forward push-up to focus on my shoulders, and then I'll do once I can't do regular push-ups anymore, I go to like the knee push-ups where you put your knees on the ground. Um to further like cook my arms and back. So I always start harder and then regress down as I can't do the harder one anymore. Just to make sure that I'm fully like pumping. Man, we got a little sidetracked too. We were just talking about like workout stuff, but uh there probably wasn't much more to really talk about on the Trump Iran deal other than like Israel's kind of fucking it up here. The and then also because like we had pointed out, Trump showed his hand on this that we're maybe gonna run out of oil in our reserves soon, which is gonna really pressure and fuck us. So like Iran doesn't really have a timeline like we do. But yeah.
Oh,
So
the other Instagram reel I sent you, let's watch that because I find it very interesting. You can skip to the part where they're like talking in their podcast. At first, he's just like,
this one right
kind of
here.
sing it. Yeah.
Be
So skip
easy
a
to
little
point
bit
out.
ahead until like
So
they're
if you're a
talking
white,
in the podcast, if you can,
I
because
do
it's
not
a.
see a bar to skip
Um,
anywhere.
okay,
person
we can just watch
and
it. It's
you
a long
identify
reel.
as left or an anti-capitalist, I need you. Oh shit! God damn it! Okay, chill. I need you to get that unfollow button ready up at the top of my profile. Give me about a third of you need to get ready to unfollow me because I'm about to piss a lot of you off. But I need to say it anyways because you need this tough medicine. You need that sour, bitter medicine to go down your throat. But I think it's time for us to grow the fuck up.
Kinky.
So enjoy what I'm about to say and say goodbye to Ubi.
Okay, send it. It's probably
What?
gonna be polarizing as fuck. Let's go.
It is going to be polarizing, but I think it's healthy medicine. My analysis of the current age we're living in, we are living in the age of theatrical concessions. Like because the ruling class knows that revolutionary ideologies like socialism and communism are becoming popular. Instead of fighting those ideologies, this is where people are going to really push back on me. An emphasis on education, that the problem with the American people is they're just not educated. The going theory is that education amongst Americans is going to be the key to revolution. However, what I'm saying is while education is important and it does lay a foundation for analysis, if it's not equally paired with tactical education, strategic education. So think about this. Imagine every single American comprehends Das Kapital. They read all of Engels, and they have a complete decolonial education. Because Americans are programmed to look for a champion and never through actually making localized tactical moves outside of the current legal and political framework that's been established by the system, all of this education will only translate to supporting more Mamdamis and even more Hassan Pikers. See, the ruling class will make concessions. It will give you Mamdamis. It will even give you Hassan Pikers. And they'll throw in some free childcare, maybe even some free subway rides. But while they're giving you that, an apocalyptic landscape will be forming around you. And the next thing you know, all the fresh water is gone. They'll be throwing people in prison labor camps, forcing the population into an unhoused reality, and destroying every little community one by one. But it's okay. It's okay. Because a few cities will have some socialist champions cushioning the blow with hope. They're
He's not wrong, but also I think he's wrong. I'm gonna just say like he's not wrong that it's not productive to assume that individuals are gonna solve the problems for you if you just like champion them, but also to use examples like Mamdani or Hassan as some kind of like people that we've put as revolutionary leaders is kind of a straw man. We have not done that.
I think it's a valid critique. What is the largest socialist or communist movement in America right now?
There isn't one.
No, there is one. There is one, the DSA. You would agree that is the largest quote unquote communist or socialist movement. I would agree there isn't one because the DSA is not actually fucking socialist. Because what do? They work within the capitalist network. They believe in reformism and they back and push candidates like AOC, Bernie Sanders, Zoran Mamdani, even people who are still Zionists, and they believe in imperialism. And here lies the fucking problem, is they will give us concessions, and this is the problem with democratic socialism in fucking general, is it's this form of giving us concessions, making our lives better. We get free healthcare, we get whatever. We're still raping the planet. We're still raping the planet. We're still doing imperialism.
I agree, but like I feel like this is ignoring the pragmatic reality that things don't happen all at once. And
no, it's not. It's saying there needs to be a different approach, and it's saying we need to not only study theory, but study what the actual tactical approaches of revolution. Don't just study Lenin, study the Red Army. What did they do to build up masses?
Not to do that. I feel like we're arguing with our own shadows here, because who's saying not to do that?
Nobody's saying not to do that. People aren't doing it. That's the critique. Because what is the approach we're taking? We're not following the revolutionaries and what they did, the people who actually had fucking motion. We're not following what they did. What did the Black Panthers do? What did the Red Army do? They built infrastructure outside of the capitalist system. They showed that the people have the people's back. You don't need government. You don't need capitalists. You need your neighbor. That's what they showed. And that is true revolutionary progress. Electing, I'm not saying that voting doesn't matter. I'm not saying it doesn't have any impact on individuals' lives, because it does have impact on individual lives in the short term while revolution is fomenting. But it does not have impact on fomenting revolution. And I really, really agree with that. Zoran Mamdani does not increase chance of actual revolution. He does not
disagree,
increase
actually.
chance
I
of
think
actual
I think
socialism.
Zoran is doing exactly what he and you were saying that we need to be doing. He is a figure, you could say he's a figurehead, and that maybe some people are leaning on him too much, but he's turning around and making sure that structures that act independently of him are being created. He's not just using the government and his power to help tenants and crack down on corrupt landlords. He's showing people how to create tenants unions and making sure that they have systems that will operate past his mayoralship. He is doing those things. He is making sure to take the special short period of influence and power that he has and passing it around so that it won't disappear the moment he's not in office. He is doing that.
I think it's so clear what's happening, though. Where are all these? We've had all these quote unquote progressives and socialists elected in these midterms. Where are all of them getting elected at? The largest, most important fucking cities for capitalism. New York is the imperialist core inside of the fucking imperialist core. You know what city would be the most important to make fucking happy? The city that would be most likely to cause revolution and serious fucking issues for America? Fucking New York. So what's the one city that if I was a capitalist, and I'm not saying Zoran's like some plant, I'm not being a conspiracy theorist. I think he legitimately has really good fucking intentions. I think that he legitimately wants to push for greater progress, that he legitimately wants to help people. But I'm saying is this can be used as a pacifier to increase the power of the capitalist. It's these social reforms. Reformism is not a guaranteed
I'm not going to
progress.
say that doesn't happen, because there's definitely like numerous examples of these people that sold themselves as more progressive and then weren't. Like
Or even they really were progressive,
like
but they were
Crockett.
you.
Yeah, or I was gonna say like Crockett was trying to come off as like kind of like part of the squad and stuff, and be this like more progressive Democratic member. Turns out she's a shit lib. Or
Or again, progressive, but maybe not the right type of progressive, right? Bernie
Yeah.
Sanders, prime example. Everyone loves Bernie. Bernie's a fucking Zionist. Bernie is straight up a fucking Zionist. Okay? He has reaffirmed the idea that he thinks Israel has the right to exist. He is a fucking Zionist, okay? Someone like Bernie Sanders will never be able to create the change necessary. It's not possible. AOC, critical of legitimate union leaders, also very likely a Zionist, will never
I don't think.
come with real
No,
change.
I would say was Bernie a Zionist 100%. I think he's conceded ground on that at this point. I'd say
Still a
there's
Zionist to this point. He
there's
did an interview last week where he said, he got asked, would you like agree with a one state solution? And he said no, because a one state solution would result in the end of Israel as it exists. And I believe Israel has the right to exist. He's still a fucking Zionist.
I would have to see that, because that would change my opinion. But I've seen him like, of course he's old, so I'm gonna give him a little leeway too. That like whatever, like I don't think ever certain people get like a little leeway because their brains are melting. They're like they've got like 10 years left tops. Like whatever. Let's just like be happy they're as cool as they are. Um, But yeah, it's not like I'm saying Bernie is going to be our Lenin. No one's saying that, but yeah. So I get what you mean there, but I just I think it's totally fun. So I'm not going to say like the point this guy made is wrong or the point that you're making is wrong. I agree with it. I'm just saying I think if we're going to have any type of movement, we should just go ahead and work towards that side of things while not also trashing progressive politicians that we get in office. We can purity test them to a certain degree, but like at a certain level, it's like Lenin talked about this all the time. That the only way to revolution is to make sure the liberals are your friends.
No, this is what I'm saying though, okay? Is, maybe this is being hypercritical. Maybe this is extreme in most people's eyes, right? But Zoran saying things like he supports the police and like be safe out there and like all these things, like trying to calm down like the riots after the Knicks and like telling people these things are wrong. Even that is like, I know this sounds ridiculous because people shouldn't be rioting. That's a bunch of fucking lib shit. Straight up fuck the police. Like straight up fuck them bareback until they fucking die. Rape them like fucking Mr. Garrison did to the Canadians, in fucking South Park.
Yeah,
Like, yeah.
I
Like,
understand the so we could
look,
agree two things can be
again,
true though. Two things can be true. Fuck the police, but also we do have the end goal of police are reformed into something that's unrecognizable as the police, even if it's still called the police.
no. Okay, this is the fundamental issue is he's always still working within capitalist systems, and I know that's a strong critique because of course he is. He's in a capitalist system, right? But this is what I mean. As mayor, it's one thing to work with tenants unions. Unions are still working within a capitalist system. Unions are a great thing. They're still working within a capitalist
that's
system,
why I'm
right?
saying
What you should really be saying
exist. Both ends have to exist. You have to have the Zoran, and then you also have to have the means that are operating outside. You have to have both of them operating simultaneously.
What you should straight up be saying as mayor of New York right now is do not follow eviction notices. Do not pay your fucking rent. That's what you should be saying. I know that sounds absurd to most people. I know that sounds so extreme, but that is how you actually foment revolutionary action. Do not pay your fucking landlord. That's your house. Who's been living there the past couple years? Who's been living in that condo? You. You own that place. I personally am currently telling right now the police to not assist with evictions. If the police are assisting with evictions, they are not listening to our mayor. I don't give a fuck about the legality. This is a bunch of white capitalist fucking bullshit slop. And that's what real revolutionaries would be doing.
Okay. I agree that like you just do both. Like that's why I'm saying like you have your people who are trying to make progress within the institutional means while also support, because see, here's the thing, since they're operating within the means, if he does that, he gets removed and he's gone tomorrow.
Pacifies. Martyr, pacify. We want to foment revolution.
He's not pacifying again. So
he is pacifying.
I strongly disagree. He's popularizing a movement by being good at his job. He's
watering down a movement.
He's just not. Like, I can't agree with that at all. That this is you can have multiple aspects of a movement undertaken at the same time. You don't have to only exist under one one point of a trident. Like, you don't have to be a spear, you can be a trident. Like, you can be
arguing that you can't be a multi-pronged approach. What I'm saying To be clear, my one critique is that when you work within set capitalist systems, you are not actually making a pronged approach towards socialism or communism in any way. At best, you're pushing towards social democracy. It will literally never, ever, ever foment into socialism or communism. That is my critique.
Do you not think this is a little hypocritical to say, considering we just gave those concessions to China?
No. We are the imperialist core.
Uh-huh.
That's the difference. China has to act in a certain way because we exist.
I think you're looking
We
at
don't have to
yes.
take that approach.
No, I understand that, but I think you're looking at America too monolithically. Assuming that America as a whole can flip over. No, this is going to happen like city by city and then state by state.
But it will never happen if you do not show the power of the people. And fundamentally, he is not doing that. He is showing the
organized it. You know the people aren't educated or organized enough. He's setting up the organizational foundations by supporting like tenant unions and unions. He's making sure that the institutions that would then later crack down on them will either not crack down on them or not crack down on them as hard by putting more sympathetic people in charge. He's doing
He's not even really doing that. Look at the people he's been putting in charge. He's not even really doing that. He is working within capitalist systems constantly. He ran as a fucking Democrat. He's working within the duopoly. He is putting in establishment Democratic candidates consistently because Democrats fucking want him to. He's, playing nice with fucking Donald Trump. He's doing all this shit. And then other leftists are acting like these are good things because he's gaming within the system and, he's getting progress and he's doing these things. I would rather him be stalwarted and not make progress and actually fucking stand on business is what I would rather. Because that shows a clearer message to the people. That shows to the people the contradictions. We don't actually, I know, like people's individual lives matter right now, but we actually don't need to make society better. What we need to do is we need to make the contradictions so fucking clear. We need to make it
contradictions are already clear enough. I think the problem is people feel isolated and powerless, so you have to create senses of community and make people feel like they actually hold a weapon.
No, you need to make it clear that even when you elect me to office, I am going to stand on fucking business and I'm going to fight for what you want. And the government is going to tell me no. The capitalists are going to tell me no. I need to make it clear as mayor. My job is not actually to get this shit done. My job is to try my hardest to get this shit done, but actually get it fucking done the right way and actually fucking stand on business. And then when everyone else stops me, it's going, you see this? You see this, right? You see that you don't actually have fucking power even in election. You know what this means, right?
I'm sorry, but this just sounds like left-wing virtue signaling to me. Like, this is like the same shit when the Democrats go, look, we appointed a woman of color to the urban board of the White House.
No, it's the exact opposite of virtue signaling. It's literally the exact opposite of virtue signaling.
But how? You're saying it's better to not get something done, but have attempted it in the right way, than to get anything done at all.
Yes, because what you're getting done is not actually revolutionary action, is what I'm saying. What you're getting done is reformism. What you're getting done is at best social democracy. That's what I'm saying, right? So it's like...
So you don't think we can plant seeds to grow it all? We just have to somehow have trees right away? That's what I'm just not, like, understanding.
That is the seed you're planting. You're planting the seed by showcasing that the system is inherently fucking flawed. When you allow people to believe in the system, you are deleting seeds. You're burning seeds fucking out of the ground. That's what you're doing. When you're reaffirming
The
belief
majority
in
of
the
people
system.
in America already don't believe in the system. There's only been one election in US history where the number of people that voted for a candidate beat the number of people that didn't vote.
But that's fine, but people aren't doing anything about it. People have enough complacency and belief where they're not doing anything about it.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, given the culture of America, how are you expecting that action to actually motivate non-voters and voters to something when clearly the default is, oh well, our voice doesn't matter, the system's broken, let's just do nothing. Because that's the standard we've lived under forever. So what you're saying to me would only result in more of that. Because we
No,
just have the
because you need to
precedent.
show them the power of the people outside of the systems. That's what I'm saying. You go, look, I tried my hardest to do X thing. Again, in my city, an example. Look, I said I don't want this data center here. I tried every legal means to get this data center out of here. None of us want this data center here. Go burn it down. I'm telling you as mayor, go burn that shit down right now. I will not do anything up to it. I will actually lead the charge with you. And we are going to show the power of the people. And the government cannot do fuck all about it. We're going to go burn that shit to the fucking ground, and they can arrest me, they can arrest some of us, but it's a city standing together. You show the power of the people. You don't show the power of the government. You don't show the power of voting. You don't show the power of capitalist systems. You show the power of the people. You don't just get tenants unions to stand together. You don't just increase the rate of tenants unions. You get the tenants unions to come together and stand in front of low income housing they're trying to gentrify.
Okay, but
Stall up the
currently there are so few tenants unions and stuff, they don't have the ability to do that in the first place. So you have to start to make sure you have the tenants unions so you can organize them later to do a thing. That's why I'm saying, like, the people aren't organized or educated enough. So it is unfortunate, like, a reality that in a lot of areas you need someone who has the will and knowledge to be able to come in and then give people the tools and go, and now do with them what you will. I'm gonna go over there.
But he's not actually giving people the tools. Most of them are not. Most of these progressive candidates, I don't know in
a lot of
depthly
them, for
Zoran's
sure.
doing.
I'd say Zoran is the golden example of a candidate doing good things to me. That are actually, like, going to live beyond him, that are going to, like, if you want to criticize AOC, I think it's a little, like, that's a better criticism. That she's working too much within the system. That she's not taking enough risks. I'd agree with that. But
It's almost all of these progressive.
Zoran has stood on business and tried to get things done, and then the moment that he ran into the roadblock, he then swerves to make sure he can get it done in another way. Like when he went to, before he finished zeroing out the budget for New York, he said he was going to do it by increasing, like, property taxes on a bunch of people, and he got stopped by the governor. He got straight up walled off by the governor. The governor was like, it's not fucking happening. So he went around and increased the taxes through another method that she couldn't stop. So, like, yeah, okay, that's still, like, working into the system, but he stood on being like, this is what I promised, we're going to increase taxes on rich people. She said no. He stood in contrast to the system and then still was able to do it. Whereas, like, I mean, the only way you could get more, like, stand on business if he was like, okay, New Yorkers, go drag them out and execute them. Like, it's like literally the only step, like, left really after that. Go burn the houses down or something. Like,
not necessarily.
I'm just saying, like,
The next progressive step. So the next step would be, I don't give a fuck about your dumbass budget. We're going to do these things anyway. Who provides the healthcare? Oh, the people? Well, people, you provide healthcare, and we also provide the food. So the people who are providing food give the people who provide healthcare that food anyway. The people who do this, like yada yada. And I get what you're saying, that you can't just do that overnight. You have to plant seeds, you have to build these systems, you have to build these communities, you have to network these people. But that's what I mean when I say that these are useless activities almost when we're playing in electoral capitalist systems. We talk about with this, the RCA, is that we can never lose sight of the end goal, which is revolution. Whether that's through violent or non-violent means, the end goal is revolution, right?
Yeah,
and so when we do things, like a food drive, our goal is not to feed mouths. That's not our goal in any way, actually. You know, it's very important that we feed people. It's very important that we make impact on our community. What's the goal of feeding these people, though? Because if we're just feeding people, that does nothing for the revolution. We don't actually care about that, right?
To ingratiate them in a form of thought and communalize them as part of a community.
Yes, and make them understand that when shit goes down, oh, these people had my back. These were the people who fed me. These were the people who gave me this. You know?
And how is that different than what Zoran is doing, who is openly calling himself like a socialist, when he's representing that he has people's backs, when he shows people how to organize tenant unions and then backs those tenants unions.
You're really stuck on Zoran and not the critique of the system as a whole.
Well,
okay?
he brought up Zoran and Hassan. I think Hassan is totally pointless to talk about because he's not even elected official. He's a fucking celebrity. It's like beyond stupid to talk about Hassan, but like to talk about Zoran, I think Zoran's the best example you could. If we want to talk about AOC, I think there's more valid criticism, way more even valid criticism was on Bernie Sanders, but I would even still say it's really only worth it to talk about the shit libs.
No. He's using them as best case scenarios of electoral leftism. This, like we said, we've seen this surge, right, of quote unquote progressive candidates get elected. And he's using Hassan and Zoran as literally the best case scenarios of the people who are pushing this electoral leftism, right? But he's pointing out the critique that when you actually look at tactical analysis of how revolution has fomented, it has never, ever, ever been done through electoral politics. Besides one country ever. One literally ever. Chile. That's it.
Well, okay. I'd say, well, I don't disagree. I'm very much on the Mao Zedong side of things, that revolution comes from the barrel of a gun. I think in the final steps of revolution can only be violent. I'm gonna put that out there. I'm actually rather extreme on that end. I think revolution cannot happen without blood spilled. I literally think that's a truth and reality. But also,
I mean, I would agree, but not necessarily because the revolutionaries have to start the violence, but because when the revolutionaries take the people out of the system, when they create their own system and start starving the system by the people, the system will attack them with violent means, and then that will require self-defense.
Not even
so
that.
Even
like,
if you go the
I'm
non-violent road, like it will require self-defense, which will then lead to violence. Yeah,
I would say that even if we somehow did it entirely electorally, there's a lot of these people that they need to die because they will try to and probably successfully sabotage the system in the future. And if not them, their children. And we can see this historically, that the children of people who were in power after revolutions tend to sabotage the systems which are created by those revolutions afterwards and then reinstitute themselves into power. You can look at kings, oligarchs,
yeah, I would agree. Like I said, it's like how you define violence, right? So I would agree, but I also would say, like, if we were to somehow actually do this through electoral means, and then, because in order for it to be true revolution, we would need to execute all of the capitalists, I wouldn't view those executions as violence. I mean, we don't view when we
And
execute.
I'm not even going to say all of them.
as bad,
There's just
but
some of them who have been particularly active in our political landscape that definitely they all have to die.
no, I'd say all of them. I would say all of them personally, but
Well, I just can't say all because at a certain point you go, okay, what's the capital? Like, how are we defining the capitalists that deserve to die? You have to start drawing weird lines in the sand. So I'd say, like, these people happen to be capitalists, but it's also the people that have just actively, like, lobbied. Like, they have personally lobbied and created the extreme, like, dystopia that we live in. Of course, we got names like Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Zuckerberg, the big ones. They have to die. I'm fully on that. They have to die in GTA in a future in which revolution has happened. They cannot
yeah.
just continue existing.
Yeah, I would agree. But overall, I think this is an important message. And it's not to say, like I said, it's not to say that these things can't make any change. It's that, like I said, we had that conversation in our meeting of the Revolutionary Communists of America last time. We need to constantly be having this conversation and this reminder as well. We need to say it over and over and over and over again, and we need to be relentless about it. The end goal is revolution, and you need to be fucking clear about that, because like I said, you can get caught up in doing the food drive, and you can be caught up in feeding the people and providing the people and kind of forget this isn't what it's about. It's the reason we provide protection to minority events, the reason we put food in mouths, the reason we do these things, none of it is about the actual thing we're doing. It is about revolution. And that's the thing where the Black Panthers really ended up fucking up, man. Is they did a fucking fantastic job of creating systems outside of the system, and everyone should be trying to emulate that. But they got too caught up in providing systems outside of the system. And they almost forgot that it was all about revolution to begin with. They forgot about
fair, they
training
got
the
psyoped.
cadres and the
They got
tactics.
psyoped hard. They had plants. They had people like assassinated. I won't.
But
blame
that's what
them,
capitalists do.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen.
But that's
You
also
fully aware. You have to be fully aware. That is what's going to happen as well.
Yeah,
like
it will and does and has. But that's why I'm saying, like, it's so important, even if it feels like so far away, because it is, that it's important to do something as simple as just show people how to form a tenants union. Because, like, I think we all have to acknowledge real quick how alienated and isolated the average person in America is at this point. You have no third spaces that you're hanging out with people. You exist at work and then at home, where you were transported between at work and home in a metal pod that only you were in, and then you exist on the internet. And that's it.
You're describing, Loki, what you're describing, helping people form tenants union, is that the job of a mayor? Is that in the description of a mayor? Is that within the system of mayoral electoral politics?
Not at all. That's not something he needs to do at all.
Exactly. So that's a great thing he's doing. He's not working within the capitalist system.
That's what I mean. Like, plenty of these candidates are doing that. That's why I was like, maybe I misunderstood his statement, but Zoran to me is the pinnacle of what we need our elected socialist representatives to be. He is at least right now. I hope Hassan actually says this, and I agree with him when he says this. He says, I want Mamdani to be mundane. I want him to seem like a boring politician compared to other politicians. But you have to get them elected so that a more extreme version can get elected later. And I agree with that sentiment, too. That you have to, could Mamdani have gotten elected 10 years ago?
Dude, it's...
And I also understand you're like, I hate the timeline on that. I agree, like, I don't want this shit to take 100 goddamn years. We don't have 100 goddamn years. So I understand that sentiment. But also, like, There's just
That's the thing is like we're not focusing enough on imperialism. We're focusing on the material conditions of the people inside of the imperialist core. Okay? That is my biggest critique. I understand the benefits Mamdani's having, right? He is the mayor of the imperialist core inside of the imperialist core. I appreciate all he's doing for New York and for New Yorkers. What about the destruction of other countries in order to benefit New York?
well, okay,
What about
I would bring this kind of secularly back to, how we were talking about revolution in Iran, and how because of our action it's probably not going to happen for many more years, and it's been totally stalled. I would
yeah,
say, to a degree, you can look at the same thing in America. Americans are like the average American is so busy just trying to survive and is being so crushed by the class war that we can't focus on a single other thing until we win the class war internally.
that's such a bullshit selfish perspective if I'm gonna be real. We don't even know what suffering is.
No,
We legitimately we don't even know what suffering is.
no, there's countries that suffer way more. That are like number one to mind is Hades in a ridiculously bad spot because of like French and American imperialism to a level of suffering that's absurd. Um, the entire Middle East at this point is in a level of suffering that we can't even imagine because of us, and has been for like literally my lifetime double, or even triple at this point. So
And
I'm not
that's what I mean is we don't need to be saying this like, oh, you elect me and I make you comfortable shit. That's not the reality we live in. We live in the reality that you're going to be uncomfortable. We live in the system you're going to be uncomfortable. I'm not even making a critiques of his actions. I'm making critiques of the messaging, okay? I'm fine with you being a progressive candidate. I'm fine with you running through the electoral process. I don't really fuck with you running as a Democrat, to be honest, but I understand the like quote unquote necessity of it, right? But the optics don't need to be, I'm gonna do whatever I can to make you as comfortable as possible. The optics need to be, hey, this shit is fucked. We're gonna fix a lot of it, but you're gonna be uncomfortable because this system exists. You're gonna be uncomfortable. And you need to get used to being uncomfortable because the uncomfortability is what's going to push you to fucking really do something. The comfortability is going to create pacificity, right?
actually
So that's
I don't understand. So you're saying like you get elected and promise to not help people?
no, 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 no. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is that you make it clear that, like I said, you can do so much as mayor. You can make a real change. You can make things more comfortable. And you say, like, I'm going to fight for these things, but you also just make it abundantly clear that, hey, this is what I did. This is how they denied me. Okay? And this is the system's fault. And we, the people, can do this on our own. We don't need this system because this system is going to make us uncomfortable.
Oh, okay, I understand that.
Yeah, there's no such thing as comfortability within capitalism. That's a farce.
Well, I'm
No
not
matter
even
what.
talking about comfortability. I'm talking about like winning the class war internally. Like before we can actually solve external
Okay, what
problems, we have to
level?
seize control of those systems, because it's not like we can stop our pillaging of like foreign lands when we're not in control of the levers that are doing the pillaging yet.
Let me give you a historical critique. When was America the closest to being comfortable in its people?
Like what do you mean? Like the highest standard quality of living?
Yes,
1951.
100%, right?
Yeah.
FDR deal two, okay? The New Deal two, when all these workers' rights came in, shit like this, okay? What happened right after 1950s? What happened?
We started fucking the Middle East
Well,
in the 60s.
yes, our imperialism not only increased and amped up, but also we shifted diametrically the exact opposite direction. We have been going more and more and more right wing ever since the 1950s. We have been going more and more and more towards fascism ever since the 1950s.
You're right. You're right. This was a concerted, strategic effort by right-wingers and fascists, though. Like you said, we stole all the Nazis over after, like, we only made, so FDR's New Deal, I would say, definitely was socialistic concession to stop revolution. It was pacification. Because
Yeah.
we were at a break point where things were so bad that there was really only two ways that it could go. Make life a little better, or have the system turn over. Those were the two options. So I would agree there, but I would say I'm that's why I'm saying we're not we're our goal is different, though, with the improvement. Yes, you can pacify with life improvement. You can, but that was the explicit goal of those movements. And that's why, while having movements that were designed to pacify, we also instituted a bunch of things that were culturally created to create positive association with right-wing, like, fascistic systems. We even, like, we straight up, like, co-opted Christianity, which used to be a socialistic, like, religion, to being right-wing and individualistic. We did so many the government did so much to make sure that we attacked socialistic and progressive thought from every angle in this country. We made it culturally ostracizing, we made it legally dangerous, we made it religiously ostracizing. We did everything we could to make sure that it was essentially a thought crime to have, like, socialistic or communist thoughts. This was a very concerted effort by our government.
I agree 100%, and it's something that's still pervasive in the government. It's something they're still doing, right?
Yes.
Okay. I 100% agree. There's one thing that just, like, really sticks out in my mind, right? And it's like, what foments revolution and what stops revolution, right? What foments revolution is not comfort. It's not, healthcare. It's not any of these things. You know what really foments revolution is courage, okay? And you know what giving people things does? It gives them fear that they could lose it. Okay? And you said that these people, these capitalists, adopted these strategies with a certain intent. You know who pushed these capitalists to adopt these strategies? Legitimate leftists. People who actually wanted real change, who wanted communism, who wanted socialism. Real fucking leftists. Real fucking union leaders and fighters and revolutionaries are the people who pushed for the New Deal. And it was viewed at the time as the government giving in to their demands. What we didn't realize is the government wasn't giving in to anything.
Yeah, we got strategically looped there. We got gapped.
Yeah. And that's why I'm saying we need to keep in the forefront of our mind that revolution is the end goal, and we need to hammer down that messaging.
I would 100% agree there. I would just say, like you said, giving food, that in a food drive, that's not pacifying right there. You have a different intention with the easing. So that's all I'm saying is, like, we don't have to make, or, like, we could still make people's lives better as long as we tactically make sure that it's developing community and inciting more, like, a desire to back a revolutionary spirit, to be like, these guys help me, I'm gonna help them. That kind of attitude. Attitude of community.
So one thing Mamdani does that I think is beautiful is openly say he's socialist. That's one thing that everyone needs to get a lot more comfortable with. We give food wearing a literal communist symbol. because we want it to be so fucking clear what this is. You know, it's not people giving you food. It's not, you know, random outreach.
I think him being in the community is also like, I don't think I've ever seen any other politician be in the community as much as him. Like he still bikes to the mayoral like office. Like he for these Knicks games, he was in the like the I'm not gonna call them riots, but celebrations. He was in the streets also like freaking out with people. And of course, you're right, he did have to condemn some stuff, but like that's also an optics thing that you just have to fucking do, unfortunately.
No, see, I actually really did not fuck with that because, and I like, again, this might sound crazy to some people, but I think the fucking gamer ass move would have been like, man, y'all made some commotion the other night. Knocked over cars, burned down buildings, did all this shit. It's crazy what can happen when the people get out with high energy. It's crazy the problems they can create for this system. That's crazy. All right, good night, New York.
But, okay, to be fair, New York actually didn't go that hard. There were some isolated incidents that got blown up in the news. New York did not go that hard with their protests.
Of it.
Yeah. I mean, like, the incidents are pretty tame.
Don't say don't hurt cops. Fuck.
I'm sorry.
What are we talking about?
You got to. Especially if you...
No.
Especially if you're in your...
He didn't have to... In no world did he have to make that statement. He could have said nothing and it would have been better.
I could maybe agree with that. But I'm saying you can't. Especially when you're the one trying to change the police force from that position by appointing people that you think are going to be able to make your local policing system better, like in a non-recognizable for the American policing system way. You're not going to be able to do that if they don't trust you to. Now, the corrupt bad ones should be afraid of you that you're going to find them and remove them. But you have to still have still command a level of respect from those people, I think, for you to be able to make that change.
They need to be afraid of the people. We don't need champions. That's a revolutionary mistake. Champions are failures.
I'm not talking about champions. I'm talking about the police specifically. Just the police. I'm talking about
the police are fucking scared of the people. Yes. That's what I'm saying. They shouldn't be scared of Zoran finding their corruption. They should be scared that the people are going to fucking murder them. That's what they should be scared of. They should be scared that the average citizen is not going to stand down to them when they try and act like fucking fascists. That's what they should be scared of.
I have to heavily disagree with that because police already think every human being is going to murder them somehow with their mind powers. That's already what every cop believes. Cops should... Ideally, I don't care, we could call them something else, and we can call them Vanguard.
No, see, police violence does not happen because they're actually legitimately scared. Some cops are pussies. Some cops are scared.
I think a lot of them are pussies. I think that's a big part of it.
Police violence happens because they want to do violence.
That also is true. I'd say it's... I think it's like 60-40. I think it is. Like, there's police violence happens because there are bullies who are looking forward to...
The vast majority of the time, they're getting off on their bullying, you know? When someone slightly resists and they slam someone headfirst into concrete...
That kind of brutality, yes, is 100%. That type of brutality is 100%.
And that's the vast majority of the brutality that happens. When we're talking about shootings, when we're talking about actual death, it's a little bit different. But the vast majority of police violence shows up in the form of abuse.
Police abuse, I'll agree, 100% is them being dictators, them being like bullies, them being just vile, evil people. shootings, I think, are probably like 70% because they're afraid and shouldn't actually have a gun. Because they're afraid of everything.
So that's what he should do. He should work his hardest to fucking disarm them, not gain trust with them. I don't give a fuck about the police. Disarm the police. And don't tell anyone to be kind to police officers. I hate that messaging. You know, that's a very specific critique that's kind of off topic, but I just fucking hated that little speech he gave after the quote unquote riots after the Knicks games. That shit, like, really fucking turned me off. It's like, dude, that shit was fucking sick. Burn down more shit. Flip over more cop cars. Throw more shit at police. Fuck yeah, dude. Don't say shit about that. Like, I understand, like, quote unquote, no, he didn't have to say anything. He legitimately didn't have to say anything.
I would say if we're going to destroy police property, it should probably be the militarized police property, because, they shouldn't have it in the first place. But it's just like, okay, more tax money gets allocated to paying for that car now. Whereas, like, maybe you don't have to renew the militaristic weaponization funds. But again, I'm saying, so, like, I'm gonna use a different word, like Vanguard. We agree that there's going to have to be some kind of enforcement group under any organized system. And their function should just be different, because we agree police are an arm of capitalism. They exist to protect capital. We agree on that. That's their functional goal, is to protect capitalism and reinforce white supremacy.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Me?
Okay. But yes, that's their goal. We agree on that. What should their, like, if we had an enforcement agency, what should they look like? They should be members of the community who are interested in protecting members of that community from harm. That, I think, is ideally what type of enforcement protection agency would look like. They investigate crime and they try and help and protect people in a community. And sometimes I think that protection can be kind of mundane. I think ideally we want to see, like, police officers almost cartoonishly be like, we're gonna help the old lady cross the street and stuff. We're gonna help her carry in her groceries.
Yeah, I mean, okay. Again, like, I fundamentally disagree that the police can even be reformed into something that's like,
Well, that's why I said maybe we can't even call them police. Maybe we can't even call them police, so I'm calling like, taken from Lenin and just calling them Vanguard. Like, if we're gonna have a Vanguard in the future that's made
and
up, like,
you
they're,
create that outside of the system. The people can create their own vanguard. The people, Loki, already have a fucking vanguard in New York. There are literally people dressing up as goddamn fucking superheroes in New York, helping the community.
you know, I actually won't push back on that one at all, because I'll say on that regard, citizens policing their own communities outside of some niche cases where people get trippy, actually does work better than fucking what we have now with cops across the board. What is, I forget that community. What is the one where, um, God damn it, I wish my brain wasn't fucking bad. But you know the one there, it was a couple years ago now, where I think it was some cops fucked up like a 14-year-old in the community, and then we just started having all, like, members of the community taking turns patrolling their neighborhood with, like, fucking assault rifles and vests on, and they wouldn't let police into the neighborhood anymore. And the police have just been like, yeah, okay, fine. And it's just better. It's just better. God, I'll actually, for next week, let's try and find examples. Since we've been stuck on this, let's for the week do some research and find examples that both of us can talk about of functional community driven systems like
Yeah,
that.
because I mean that's
Because I do
fundamental.
want to talk about it, because I think we both agree that those are better. They are better, and we should all know how to join and create them.
Yeah. And I think that's fundamentally my biggest critique of even doing something like being mayor. I'm not saying that you can't make any impact as mayor, and honestly, you could use your mayoral like status to do even more things, but I don't think you should even though your job is to work within the system, even though that is your job is to create the
It's
budget
great
and
to
do
give
these things.
shout outs to these other things. Like you could give a shout out to a group that's being like, they've made the community here so safe, they're doing such a good job, they're standout members of the community, and that popularizes a nonsense. You're right, you could do things like that, and I'd argue to a degree, I think we both agree that he's doing that with like tenants unions, that he is
Yeah,
empowering them in a way and
but
shouting them out.
I think that should even be the center of what you're doing, right? I don't think your biggest wins should be your taxes on like super expensive condominiums and stuff like that. I don't think those are the things that you should be touting as, because those are champion wins. Those aren't community wins, okay? I think the things that you should be touting on a regular basis, what you should be doing is community based collaboration. And I think as mayor, you should even be working to create these systems of community based collaboration, right?
Yeah.
And I think that it can go as far as supporting people who don't necessarily do legal things, such as fighting against imperialism. You know, if there is a group that did what we're talking about and stood outside of FedEx and gummed up the works and stopped Israeli airships from coming in, if there was a union forming in FedEx and they stopped Israeli airships from coming in, that is illegal activity. That is activity, no matter how illegal, that you should support as mayor.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's why I critique, for example, that one speech. I think overall he does a really good job with messaging, but I don't think even you should say a fucking word about people attacking systems. I don't think you should say a word about people creating chaos. I think what you should have done in that moment, if anything, was shout out the members of the community. I've seen ample videos where people are saving other people during the chaos, where people are providing first aid.
You're right. You're right on that. I'm conceding on that full heartedly. The only reason I get gummed up here is because I'm critical of systems, but I'm also fully willing to remove individuals from systems, even when those individuals might be semi-problematic, as that they themselves are also victims of a system, which does not excuse their actions. But I ultimately believe in reform for everyone. Not everyone. Most people. The majority of people. Reform is possible and necessary. So
Yeah.
it's why I'm saying, like, I always want to encourage things that could possibly systemically ingratiate your ability to transform people within a system's opinion. Because if everyone within a system, no matter how corrupt it is unified in changing it, then that system is made better. It's unrealistic. It's more realistic to start over from scratch. But yeah.
Yeah.
And I think in again, it's incremental and not as good, but we've seen some small cases of like police departments that were abolished in this country and then replaced with non-union police departments. And they're not perfect, not even close, but they're unrecognizably better compared to their institutional counterparts.
Yeah, I would agree. What's the end of the video? We never even finished it.
You're right. You're right.
Going to give us concessions. They will give us some Mamdamis. They will give us Hassan Pikers. And yes, they will change the political fervor amongst Americans, but it will never translate to revolution. It will only translate to looking for champions in the political controlled sphere of the system to vote for. And maybe a few will get voted in, and maybe a few of those will pass some socialist reforms, but I guarantee you that the techno-fascism will outpace any progress. My point being is that until we completely detach from any type of hope in the electoral system of a champion coming to save us in the political system as it lies right now, and unless we build a dual power structure that is completely illegal, that is completely outside of the rules, and it's physical and it's rebellious and it actually challenges the power structures, we will never reach revolution. You will continue to get your fucking dick hard and your pussies wet over Hassan Pikers and Mamdamis. I'm sorry, I gotta say it. I am sick and tired of seeing leftists spewing hope that, hey, y'all, we got somebody. They're changing the landscape. And yes, it's true. They might be pushing the narrative towards socialism. But that is only going to translate into a future where we have a bunch of communist Americans who are going even more harder to the polls to elect a communist or a socialist politician who will only get a few incremental things done. Meanwhile, by that time, we are living in a techno-fascist reality where it doesn't matter. So when I think about New York City, okay, and this is, I love y'all New Yorkers who are revolutionaries, but I got something to say. I know y'all are excited about Mamdani and what he's doing for New York. But New York City is the imperial core within the imperial core. If I were the ruling class, I would make New Yorkers so happy because the last thing I would want is for the imperial core within the imperial core, where Wall Street exists, where the top executives exist. I do not want people upset in my city. I want them completely satisfied. Meanwhile, the rest of the country will burn to the fucking ground while New Yorkers are fucking happy with their free childcare. Because guess what? They don't want a bunch of fucking violent New Yorkers surrounding a bunch of Wall Street executives. That's too dangerous. And I know that that's brutal to hear. And
he's wrong. He's detached from reality. Just like it's he's not saying a hard truth here. He's just kind of delusional. That's just like he could be correct if you're talking about a theoretical land of an imperial core with an imperial core with a theoretical Wall Street, but that's just not how any of that is actually functioning. Also, none of the elites actually live in New York. They live in New Jersey. That's why I'm just saying, like, none of what he said reflects reality of, like, painting the picture of what's going on. None of that is true, except to some degree saying that New York is the imperial core of the imperial core. But even that's not, it's an economic core of the imperial core. But even more so than that, California is, just as a whole. Because economics is the engine of the imperial core. And yes, New York is a very financially important city.
I think the biggest thing he said that I think is the hard truth that I agree with is that we need to be building systems outside of this system, and these systems will be illegal. And the hard truth about something like a mayor, even though like a lot of people are going to say it's unreasonable for us to expect a mayor to do something like that, is he needs to be helping build and support these illegal systems. Like, you're talking about tenants unions, you're talking about other things that he's doing. These are all within the legal means of the system, right? I'm talking he needs to be openly creating illegal systems.
Okay, so again, why I'm saying you can't openly do that is you'll just be arrested immediately. You have to build
So that they
alliances
have to
first.
arrest the mayor for helping the community. They have to then arrest the elected mayor for
If
helping.
the optics on it were really good, like it was something that's like super stupid that's illegal that didn't involve violence, but like let's say he did something extreme like fuck the cops, burn all their cars down. He just gets arrested for encouraging violence, and then everyone goes, "Well, yeah, he did do that. That's kind of fucked up." Because that's what the liberal mind would do. That doesn't ingratiate anyone. So it depends. There's like a gray area to it. And we do see politicians, even liberal, non-progressive politicians, do this where they break laws on purpose and get arrested. This does happen. Liberals do this, not even the progressives. Liberals do this,
No, they
but
don't
only
break
when it's
laws. No, no, no,
strategic.
no, no. They don't break laws by creating independent systems. They break laws as like a show of defiance. Like Justin Pearson, for example, progressive Democrat. He stayed in areas when they told him to leave, and then they arrested him. They forcibly removed him, yada yada, right? That he didn't build any independent system. He broke laws. That's what you mean by even liberals will break laws. That's what you mean by
That is
Democrats
that is
break
kind of what
laws.
I mean. A lot of them will do something that's a non-violent law break that just looks optically good, and I think like. But when you say by supporting a non-legal system, what do you really mean? Like a militia?
Um, I mean, it could potentially be something like that, but that's not necessarily what I'm talking about. I think, like you said, the optics matter a lot. So, for example, in New York specifically, there is a commune. They are living a communist utopia in this commune inside of New York. They are currently being fought by capitalists, and people are trying to evict them, right? I think something that would be extremely huge as mayor is if you went there and you stood in front of this building and you said, we're not evicting these people. I'm mayor and I'm declaring that we're not evicting these people. The city is behind them. These people are living together. They have created this society. They are feeding people. They're doing this. They're housing the homeless. They're providing all these resources. And I don't care if they're living in illegal means. They are a net good to the society, and I'm standing with them. You know?
I mean, okay. Would that really be much different than going and providing them legal aid and stuff to have like very closely related to supporting and helping create tenants unions? That seems pretty much in the same breath to me. Maybe he hasn't helped this specific one, but that seems pretty close. And it would be, I agree, it would be really cool if he did that. It would be. And I'd like if he did that. Um, I would just say, okay, well, let's look at it someone who has done an illegal thing and hasn't been punished at all. Donald Trump, he basically raised a militia and had them attack a government building illegally, and none of them got punished, right? He did that. So he did the thing we're almost talking about, right? How'd he do it? How did he get the people willing to do this? Because I'd say maybe there's a little bit we could learn there. And I'd say part of that, now he did it in what I think is a mentally unhealthy way that is not really sustainable, but he created a community first. So I repeatedly think that the first step you have to do, you can't come out the gate swinging with the denying or like supporting illegal, like an extra legally movement that is particularly radical, because you have to build up the community around it first. Trump, of course, has a little bit of an advantage, being that he is, to these people, for some reason, like a prophet figure. But he had like these online forums and stuff. Now, I'm not saying this is the healthy way to do this, but he built up community with like QAnon and the conspiracy theorists, and developed this like MAGA cult that was willing to literally gather and then storm the Capitol on his command. And he did that openly and publicly, and no one was punished for it ultimately because he pardoned everyone. Clearly, you're right that you can foment that kind of action in this country. Now, those people are he took advantage of a rather mentally unwell segment of America. So we can learn from it, but we also have to be able to apply this to a more mentally well segment of America. So I'm not going to disagree that it's not possible to do these things. I just think it requires a lot of tact, especially with one of the reasons Trump was obviously able to do this is because he's kind of on the side of the system. Right? Like, he got away with it because it didn't hurt the system. If anything, it kind of helped promote the acceleration of fascism. It was good for it.
That's so, yeah, I mean, just ultimate, like, that's why I think, like, electoral politics isn't even an answer, or it's not even actually a solution. That's why I'm unconvinced of, like, the utility of even doing something like running for political office, or even helping people run for political office, you know? Hassan, he spends a large amount of time now, and he has a insane motion now politically, but he spends a large amount of time helping people get elected, pushing people, especially during these midterms. He's been extremely influential, right? I'm not convinced that that's actually useful.
Well, here's my last thing I'm going to say of why I think it's so integral. In a situation in which we do not push for progressives to take a bunch of office to popularize and vocalize the progressive message outwards in a media attentive landscape, I'm going to ask the question, who do you think is actually in this landscape of things falling apart, where there is, no matter what, even if no one does anything, there's going to be a type of revolution that happens? Who's going to be the leader of that revolution, or the leading group that organizes people in
Not
America?
fucking Democrats.
No. I think it's very obvious to me who's going to be able to co-op and collectivize people into an extremist movement in the situation in which our system starts collapsing. And I think
Who?
it's going to mirror the Middle East. We're just going to have Christian ISIS. They're the people with community and money. They're the people who already have organization and systems of money and land and structure and community.
You're just further proving my point by saying that. You're just further proving my point by saying that. You just proved to me that what's the most important thing then?
But I'm
Because
not. That's
revolution's going to happen. It's going to foment. What's the most important thing? Building systems outside of the system. Building self-sustainability.
I
arming
agree,
people.
but there's no way you can create there's no way for people to socialistically or communistically, like, get behind a revolution if it's not really strongly within the zeitgeist and doesn't have representatives that exist to build community beyond these small like socialist and communist groups all across the country. It's important that they also try and grow and build community, but it's also important that these people get out there as politicians to show that there are these groups to the normies. Because these people get mass media attention when this stuff happens. And if we don't do that, in the scenario where things start falling apart and people start collectivizing into the groups for protection and community to try and create an uprising, well, we're just gonna have Christian jihads. We're just going to have Christian Al Qaeda. We're just going to have Christian ISIS. That's the only future America's going to have if we don't have these progressive politicians at least trying in the and getting public limelight.
No. What? Okay, so what does these politicians getting public limelight do to garner people, to build more community, to build more wealth, to build more sustainability, to come together in larger masses where they will outpace techno-fascism, where they will outpace techno-feudalism, where they will outpace the white evangelical Christian nationalist movement that already dominates the, well, not just the ultra wealthy class, but also the wealthiest classes inside of the working class. What the fuck is getting these politicians elected going to do to create a network that is viable enough that will actually bring these people together?
So I'd say on the
Because they're working within the Democratic Party, to be fair. They're not building their own fucking network outside of the capitalist system. They're not building their own.
The parties will be irrelevant in this scenario anyways. It's more about putting ideology out there. It's more about putting
no, but the critique is it's so much more than just ideology.
Yeah,
it needs
it is.
Practical understanding as well.
It is.
I'm not saying that ideology isn't important.
It's about whenever these political campaigns happen, they organize and connect people together, and also ingratiate people to new thought. But you're right. None of these things are going to outpace techno-feudalism. That shit, to me, is inevitable. The goal is to make sure that once everything falls apart because of techno-feudalism and revolutionary action starts happening, that enough people are ingratiated to a group that the only other option isn't just Christian ISIS. Because Christian ISIS is coming! It's coming no matter what!
No, but this is the fucking issue. What group are they getting ingratiated into? They're getting ingratiated into an ideology. They're not getting ingratiated to a group or a network because we're ramming this ideology into the Democratic Party. So we're getting ingratiated into a capitalist system. We are, as MLK said, leading our people into the burning fucking building.
Again, the only reason I disagree with that on some degree is I think a lot of these people run as a Democrat. We'll go back to Zoran. Why would you, in Zoran's position, run as a Democrat? If you were Zoran, would you why would you run as a Democrat?
You want the clout of the Democratic Party. You want the machine of the Democratic Party. You want the benefits of being a Democrat. No. I fully understand why you would run as a Democrat.
No, it's because you win by default if you're nominated.
But no, that's what I'm saying though, is this.
The only fight you had to fight was in the primary.
Yeah.
When you run in a Democratic-dominated area, there are so many people that are vote blue no matter who, that it doesn't matter, and then you can win them over later. Because if you could just win during the primary in these areas, you just win automatically. Because you're not running against another candidate in the, once you get out of the primary. You just win. You just win automatically.
You're just further indoctrinating people. You're just further indoctrinating people by doing that. How are you building a network outside of the system? How are you bringing people together and making them realize a network out of the system where they can actually compete against white evangelical nationalism? Because you are fully correct. That is the movement we are against. It is going to be a crossroads where it's white evangelical national fascists or it's fucking communism. That is the fucking, and those things are going to come to head, right? The white evangelical nationalists have more power, they have more resources, they have more networks, they have more connection. How the fuck is you working within a system that they created going to then allow you to build networks? That's the issue. Yeah, you get elected, but why does that matter that you got elected?
Well, because now that you can actually like do things that are in line with socialistic or even maybe, communist leading like structures that
Why do
show
you
people,
need to be mayor to do that?
huh?
Why do you need to be mayor to do that?
Because you wield
If
you wield
Solomon Grant is independent, do you think he would not have gotten media attention? Do you think he would not have gotten any clout? Do you think he
he
would have
wouldn't
just
have won.
okay, cool, he wouldn't have won.
And then we'd have Cuomo right now.
Okay. And so
Then you just have the same like democratic nonsense of them doing nothing and Giga supporting the police, giving them another $10 billion in New York.
yes, and then you know what you have diametrically opposed to that?
Nothing.
No, you have someone who just got all this attention, all this clout, who said they had the answers, who had the fucking solutions, and now he lost and he's immediately going into the community and he's creating networks within the community to provide solutions anyway. Even though he didn't get elected as mayor.
He was doing that before he was elected to mayor anyways.
Yes, but running could have given him the clout to bring attention to that. He didn't even need to get elected. Getting elected did nothing.
Yeah, it gave him the ability to actually make the institutional changes.
We don't need institutional changes.
You think tenants unions would get structural support with Cuomo in charge? Like that's like huge to be able to put institutional power behind non-institutional segments.
Institutional power is irrelevant. The people hold all the power. Institutional power is fake. If we decide we want to do something, there's literally fucking nothing the government can do to stop us.
I mean, you're right, but at the same time wrong because we're all held in the constraints of capitalism and need like money to survive. So like
Because we allow ourselves to be held in that constraint. We don't need money to survive.
but again, you're saying you're basically making the claim that, well, if we just tomorrow were anarcho primitivists, then
No, I'm not.
the what you're saying is basically like, okay, what if these people just mass took over a grocery store, took over the supply lines, taking over the grocery store, so that no one is left without
End
food.
goal. That's end goal. What I'm saying in short
How
term
do you
is
get there without institutional power? Or
you don't need
like
any
a
institutional
militia?
power. You literally need zero institutional power to start building these networks. Zero. I'm dead ass serious. You need literally no institutional power to start building these networks. And
You need yeah, okay.
what someone with
These people would need money. Then
okay, you need money. But do you actually need money? What you need is skills, right?
which then means you need time. Which you need money to have spare time.
You need skills. There are plenty of people already trained with these skills out in society making money. You need to recruit these people. You don't need time to learn new skills. You need to recruit these people. How do you recruit these people? By showing them that you can benefit them, and then creating a barter system with them. And now you're creating a network of bartering. This is what I mean is I just find electoral politics to be ultimately not something we should be focusing our energy on, or something that we should be so fixated on. When something happens in the news where a progressive gets elected, I don't really care, because what we should be focusing on is creating independent networks, point blank, period. The tactics of creating independent networks. And we don't need money, we don't need time, we need more people, we need skills. And people already contain those skills. We need to start bartering with those people. We need to start ingratiating
under our system. Plenty of people already do pro bono work for stuff all the time. I'm not going to deny that, but it accelerates the pathway if someone like Mamdani provides, government funds for lawyers to help the legal side of tenant fights and tenant unions. That accelerates the process, and that wouldn't happen without that institutional power or money. It gives you access to a fund of money that you get to then distribute amongst people, of your community, to help them make those movements. I'll give an example. During the snowstorms, he instituted a never before used system that allowed him to pay individuals to shovel snow, and he paid them fuckloads for it. He paid them the maximum amount of money he could pay them to, random people to shovel snow, to basically give tax revenue back to the citizens of New York. And tons of people made ass loads of extra money shoveling snow. That helps alleviate stress and allow people to have freedom to organize. And it also got people together talking and being part of a community as they're shoveling snow together. It's a super, nothing thing, but, I'm just saying, being able to redirect the funds from the system back into the people, directly or indirectly, gives them the ability to organize these extra governmental systems without suffer. Because
it does not create networks. We need networks. That's what we need. We need networks. Okay, cool, you paid people to shovel snow. Okay, they did that. The people did things. It showed that the community is capable. People got money. That's all fine and dandy. What would be more effective is networks. We don't just give these people money, we link them up with people who can seriously fucking benefit them.
I mean, that's what the paying for legal experts for, the tenants unions is. And the tenants, in helping their fights against, landlords. That's providing
legal money. These, I'm hearing system. I'm hearing within the system. I'm hearing system. People. I'm saying people.
You said system. I said that's the system helping. The people are doing that, but you have to be able to pay them in some way to survive under our system. You're saying barter or whatever, but that's not realistic yet. That's not realistic to just be I got you, I'm gonna give you food.
Why?
Could you barter could you afford to just barter instead of getting money?
Yes. We all could literally barter right now. I've made barter offers. where I've given people for free personal training for services.
Okay, yeah, you can on small scale do that, but like you can't like what are the tenants in a contested property going to do to be able to get legal aid beyond a stretch thin pro bono service? How are they going to get extra aid?
Why do they need legal aid?
Why don't they need legal aid? How are they going to act outside of the system defend their property?
The, the the more networking, the more people you provide, not in legal aid, the more self-sustaining networking you provide, the better they will be able to combat that system. The legal aid is helping them work within that system. That's all that's doing.
And develop,
Providing them networking will help
which is
them
what
combat that
helping
system.
them develop tenants
Every
unions
single
is.
person, every single person in that tenants union has a skill. They have something to offer. They have something to barter. They have something to give other people in other apartments, other tenants unions, other areas. And you can network these people together in order to provide for each other and fight for each other.
But again, the primary skill that you are bartering for would be legal aid.
No, that's not. No, it's not.
Okay, then the only other system here is when people come to evict you, well, you're bartering for self-defense. You're bartering to have a gaggle of goons there to rough up anyone who tries to remove the tenants. That's the other option there.
Yes. I will provide you food. I will provide you safety in return. Hey, I'm an electrician. I can fix this for you. I can do this. I can do that. I can do this. We have a childcare here. We can take care of your children there. We all have skills. Every single person in that fucking tenants union has skills that they can give to other people. And all the other people have to agree upon in order to get their benefit of their skills is show up at this place at time and literally stand there with us. Just stand there with us.
But you don't know when that time is. It could be at any hour of the night, at any time, and you're basically you'd have to have like it's just that's so much less reasonable. That's just so much less reasonable than starting within the system and working outward. You're like what you're saying, there's just no possible way you could get a strong enough network of people. You need people who have access and ability to defend the property, enough people to be able to get there at any hour of any day because you don't know when people might show up to evict. You need to be able to do it multiple times because you don't know how often they'll show up to evict. You are going to have then people that can feed the people in the property for some kind of exchange. Like the network, I'm not saying that's not a great end. That is the goal of communism. That is the end goal of communism right there is what you're talking about. But that's what you're talking about. You're talking about instituting small scale
What I'm
end goal of
explaining
communism
is
right away.
that we don't need to reach the end goal of communism to start creating these networks. We can start creating these networks today, and creating these networks should be the focus. Because, again, cool, you provided legal aid so they can fight within the fucking system. That changes nothing long term. Nothing. Zero fucking things does that change in any meaningful fucking capacity. Okay? So that's my whole argument from the fucking start is not how can he protect these individual tenants in this moment. It's not how can he benefit these individual people in this moment. Because that's not the end goal. The end goal is revolution.
It is, but like we
And
said,
the only way to create revolution is networking people together. That is the only fucking way to do it.
that's what he's doing by helping them organize unions. That's why I'm saying that is the start bound under our system for creating networks. It's unions. And then you have piles and piles of unions who can collectively barter their skills.
Yeah, so why? Okay, so hear me out here. Tenants union. Instead of offering them legal aid, why not link them up with other union networks? And this is even before they reach any end stage of like them actually getting evicted or anything happening. Why are we not using our status, using our media coverage, using our power to link unions together and create barter between unions?
I mean, I kind of think that is what is going on when you are saying you're supporting unions publicly on TV, is that you're putting it out there that anyone can start a union and join a union. You're popularizing the idea of a union, and if you're helping them join a union, that's not creating a new union, that's joining an existing network of unions. So that is what is happening.
But these unions don't barter together.
Okay, but that's an entirely different conversation. Uh, of connecting unions across support. And some unions kind of do, but you're right, like there should be more cross union support. But that's like I don't know. I feel like that's like getting, it's not important, but it's getting picky at a picky and pedantic at a point where it's like we're getting bogged down in the details instead of like doing anything. Yeah, we can do that, but like, don't we need the unions in the first place to network them? We don't have that many unions. Union participation in this country is really bad. Like, what's union participation in the US? Only 1 in 10 workers is a union participant. And most of that is government jobs. In the private sector, only 6% of jobs are unionized. So that's like what, 1 in like 18, or like 1 in 18 or something. Yeah, I think that's like 1 in 18. So, like, we need the unions first. That's like step 1. You can't network unions that don't exist.
You can just network people. What I'm trying to get across is like we don't need any set condition to exist in order to network people. We don't need any set condition to exist in order to barter. You can literally, dude, like you can go
Yeah,
outside
but that's
tomorrow and
individualistic action that doesn't require anything. So like at that point, why are we any of us talking about anything? We should all just be bartering with each other to dissolve the system individually. Like we don't even need to talk to each
no,
other.
no, no, no. You should create a group and start bartering within that group and ingratiating people into that group by bartering through that group with other people. You don't just do it as an individual. Again, why the revolutionary communists of America exist,
You're
right?
kind of just talking about friends. You're just talking about having friends.
That's literally what communism is, dog.
I mean, no, that's a community aspect. Communism is a moneyless, borderless, stateless society. But
Yeah, it's just everyone's fucking homies. That's literally what fucking communism is. We all just have each other's back. We're just a bunch of fucking homies.
What I'm running into is, how does this have anything to do with having people in elected office that are progressives?
Because it has nothing to do with having people in elected office, because having people in elected office is borderline fucking useless, and that's my whole point the whole time.
But it facilitates the second.
It facilitates what?
It facilitates what you're talking about. It facilitates the ability to organize these communities. It makes it easier. It gives the ability to fund that organization. We unfortunately, currently live in a system where, okay, yeah, you could just barter, but it's not how it works right now. It's not how it works right now, and most people won't be able to do that right now.
How are we doing it then? I literally run a program where I help people create their own food, and then they give me food, and I go give other people food and learn their skills and get them a part of the group, and then they give other people services. Like, you literally, like, how the fuck am I doing it then? If you require money, how the fuck am I doing this with zero fucking money? How am I out here as a broke-ass motherfucker, barely affording to do fuck all, with zero fucking bands, zero fucking clout, nothing, and yet I'm out here doing this? That's what I'm saying.
You're going through extra effort to be able to do this. Most of these people have like no time to do anything. And it's great to have the community built where they can do that. But they need people to help them first.
Person who is running for political office literally has all the fucking time in the world to do this.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
This clout-chasing motherfuckers who are literally running for political office. These motherfuckers literally in the fucking limelight. This is what I'm saying. They don't actually need to get elected. Running for office is utility. Electoral politics is utility. Look at what Butch Ware's doing. Did Butch Ware not get elected and then just like stop? Did he just, I didn't get elected, time to give up?
None of these people do that, though.
Exactly. So why is it that when they get elected, suddenly they only work within the systems that exist most of the time? Why are they so hyper-fixated on the actual job of the fucking mayor or the whatever?
They're fake as fuck. The real ones don't. Mamdani hasn't. AOC is as like much of a politician as she is. She's very active inside her district. She does very like politically libbed up stuff in the limelight, but she wins with overwhelming majority because she fucking like is literally on the ground in her district all the time. These progressive politicians that are actually like good, they don't stop when they're elected. Yeah, there are examples of them who were fake as fuck. There are. But lots of these people don't. What is her name? Is it Kate Abazuelas? Kat Abazuelas? I can't say words. Abughazlaeh. Agobazella? I'm sorry for absolutely mangling your last name. She was she is a journalist and like union representative. She didn't get elected. She didn't stop leading up to her not getting elected, and she hasn't stopped now. I think it's just it's a weird misnomer to say that you can't do both. And that doing one doesn't help the other. Yeah, you can always point...
That one time, I've been making the point that it does help the other. I literally have been making the critique that the electoral, that the legal system, that the laws you pass should not be at all the center focus. It should not be at all the things you should talk about. You shouldn't talk about anything within the system anytime you get any single fucking media presence. you should instantly be pointing to the things that the community is doing, to the networks, to the strides we're making within the unions, within the other fucking aspects. That's literally been my critique the whole time, is that you can do both, and there's a fundamental messaging issue because we are not bringing messaging back to the revolution. We're bringing the messaging back to reformism every single time. That's literally been my critique this whole time, is that you can do both. These people often do both, but their messaging is solely about reformism consistently.
My fellow New Yorkers,
I think just on that, because I just think we're categorically like ignoring or maybe unaware of how much the messaging is about community and organizing.
New Yorkers, for 53 long years we have watched and we have waited. We have watched from nosebleeds and through gritted teeth, on televisions in the windows of electronic stores, and from projectors balanced on fire escapes. We have watched alone in our apartments with our heads in our hands, shoulder to shoulder at bars where the signal flickers, alongside friends and family who we wish more than anything could be here today, sharing this moment. For 53 long years, we have watched the Knicks and we have waited. We waited as the memory of Willis Reed winning the championship on one leg grew fainter and fainter. We waited as Clyde came up clutch again and again, as John Starks dunked on Jordan and Patrick Ewing dunked on the Pacers, as Bernard King scored 60,
basketball stuff. I don't understand the sport.
As Charles Oakley pulled every rebound within reach, as Spike got in Reggie Miller's face, as Allen Houston put up a shot against Miami that hung in the air for an eternity, as Larry Johnson gave us the four-point play heard around New York, as Starbury traded threes with Kobe and then sold sneakers every kid could afford, as Nate Robinson stuffed Yao Ming, as the city came alive watching Linsanity, and as Melo lived every Brooklyn dreams when he came home and made MSG feel like the center of the universe once again. We waited without ever knowing if this day would come, and we waited because we knew deep down in our sick, suffering hearts that it would. New York City, this team has done it. The New York Knicks are NBA champions. We are here not just because of this team that will go down in New York City legend. I'm talking about guys like Ronaldo Balkman, Marty Collins, Raymond Felton, Marcus Camby, Kristaps Porzingis, J.R. Smith, Iman Shumpert, and the whole Knicks tape era. I'm talking about guys like Tony Douglas, who I watched tie the single-game franchise record for threes from the stands in 2011. I'm talking about Amari, who got this whole city fired up when he joined. And I'm talking about Jared Jeffries and Lance Thomas and Langston Galloway. Players who gave everything every game, even when a 20-win season was all that was in sight. This championship belongs to them too, because championships aren't just built in one season. It belongs to Emmanuel Quickley, R.J. Barrett, Dante DiVincenzo, Julius Randle.
I don't know what basketball is.
And also to a coach who helped lay the groundwork, Tom Thibodeau. Thanks to each of these New Yorkers and too many others to name, New York City has just had two of the most magical months in as long as any of us can remember. Over these past weeks, as the Knicks kept winning, our city has come together as one.
Here we are.
Neighbors invited neighbors over. Strangers high-fived one another in the street. Subway conductors sang their announcements and bus drivers danced behind the wheel. So often when this city comes together, it is because we are forced to, by a moment of tragedy or adversity. What a gift it is to be brought together by pure, unfiltered joy. For as long as we live, we will remember this feeling of a city together, a city alive, a city overcome by happiness. But let's not pretend that this was inevitable. If you will allow me, I want to travel back in time 8 days. Game 4. 9 minutes and 33 seconds left in the fourth quarter. The Knicks are down 20. The analytics guys, the sports betting companies, the pundits who watch from far away, they do what they do. They run the numbers. They calculate the odds. They write the Knicks off. They give the Spurs a 99.6% chance of winning the game. A 99.6% chance of tying up the series 2-2, of reclaiming the momentum with the next game in San Antonio. A 99.6% chance of silencing the Garden, of another year of watching and waiting. But there is one thing that the pundits just don't get about this team, that they just don't get about this city. It is in that 0.4% that we go to work. It is in that 0.4% that Jalen Brunson, the same guy that so many said was too small, proves that not only is he good enough, he is the new standard for greatness. It is in that 0.4% that OG Anunoby watches the ball float from the top of the arc and start running toward the basket, fingers reaching towards the heavens. It is in that 0.4% that Karl Anthony Towns
Hey, Thomas.
finds the strength to mourn his mother and still pull in rebound after rebound, make block after block. It is in that 0.4% that Jose Alvarado shows every kid growing up in public housing that a son of Brooklyn and Queens can win for every one of the 5 boroughs. It is in that
Of course, there's a lot of basketball fluff in here, but what I mean is the messaging is constantly about community and coming togetherness. Juniper. That sounds familiar. I'm not 100% sure where Juniper is, but that's good.
Dude, I'm gonna be honest. Like, I understand the general message was about like community or whatever. There was so much basketball slop.
I know. Actually, the basketball slop was kind of driving me crazy because I'm like, you just named 40 names, I think, and I don't know if they were names. It was definitely making my brain glaze over. But the general point is, like, yeah, and he was out there too with the community constantly too. I agree. You gotta push coming together, break the isolation that is inevitable. I mean, fuck, it's incredible. You're right. It's incredibly important to be able to overcome isolation because the alienation and isolation of capitalism is it's part of design because it stops what you're talking about. It stops the ability to organize. So even though we don't get it, right? We don't get it. We don't understand basketball. Neither of us are fans of basketball.
Yeah.
Being brought into community and talking and organizing, even if it's at a core something as silly as basketball that's what's bringing you together, it's still healthier than being part of the American Jihad. It's still healthier than being part of Christo ISIS in the future. If what brought you together talking and bitching about how the capitalist class is fucking you was basketball, good. That's better. That's still better. That's still better community building. That's still an excuse to get people together that's better than, I don't know, a black pill forum talking about how you all hate women. It's still better this is still better than all the things that are somehow getting people into community right now. It's still more constructive to being able to push towards revolutionary thought. It just is. It just is. Like, being a part of a sports fan community is still a better inroad to that than all the things that people keep finding themselves in communities in right now. But so that's really all I was wanted to like just say is like, I agree that the community messaging is important. Um because yeah, we're all isolated, we're all alienated. It's not good. And a lot of things become easier if we're just connected. Um
I agree. I mean, that's literally all I've been saying is like we just need to connect. Like that's literally revolution. It's not electoral politics. It's none of this.
yeah, I mean
It's
the only part we were disagreeing or seemingly disagreeing is I don't know why we can't also champion electoral politics at the same time.
because I mean it's just fucking bourgeoisie slop. Like it's just fucking like
It's how you ingratiate the liberals, though. Remember, you can't do it without them, unfortunately. And hopefully they don't stay liberals, but you can't do it without them. I don't like it either, but you can't do it without them.
we can't do it without the fucking conservatives. We don't need to just focus so much on Democrats. That's my biggest critique of
Did
playing.
I say conservatives or did I say liberal?
You said liberals. We need the conservatives too.
They are conservative. Liberals are conservative.
Yes, you know what I fucking mean, dude.
I know, but I'm using the word liberal in the all-encompassing. I'm talking about all of them. I'm talking about liberals in a, real world politics
How is
sense.
running a Democrat going to get Republicans?
The Republicans love Mamdani. They think he's all well, except the ones that are convinced that he's Musliming New York. The racist ones still are out. But no, like, here's the thing. Like, it's unfortunate, but you're connected enough to know, what do all the Republicans keep or all the MAGA heads keep thinking Trump's going to do? They keep thinking he's going to do socialism. I don't know why they keep thinking that, but they keep saying it. When you ask them, they keep being like, yeah, he's going to give us housing and health care. He's going to make sure Social Security doesn't suck anymore. And then as soon as they put him in office, he's like, I'm going to incinerate Social Security. Ah! Healthcare? Only for me. I'm going to live forever. So, like, we all know the MAGA heads are actually socialists. They're just too poorly educated to realize they're socialists. I mean, what was one of the biggest issues that Trump got elected on?
I mean, that we agree about this. Like you talk about fucking the issues. You talk about the things. You talk about actually fucking helping people. That's something Trump did. Great, right?
Yeah.
But also, like the difference between Democratic liberals and conservative liberals is Democratic liberals self-critique within their own space. Almost too much, right?
Yeah.
Republicans, they just go along. There's no like self-critiquing within the space. They just like
within the system, but I'd say among the base, it's more that they don't know what they're voting for.
so like
because like I'd say the number one thing that Trump said that got him elected was actually that he was anti-war. Which we both know that's hysterical, but the vast majority of MAGA people, and they're even clashing with him now. Like Marjorie Taylor Greene is like anti-Trump now because he went to war with Iran. So it's like they're just woefully uninformed. So you just have to the way someone like Mamdani gets the conservatives is that he shows them that there's a group of people who will actually do it. Because the Republicans don't actually do the thing they all want. Everyone knows the Democrats don't. The Democrats do nothing Dems. But we all have to accept that there's divisions amongst amongst the parties now, and while yes, they're running as Democrats, they're also discrediting Democrats. We see like Justin Jones does this, right? What does he call the Democrats? He doesn't call himself a normal Democrat, and he doesn't call the other Democrats Democrats. He calls them corporate Democrats. He others them. He creates a separate subgroup.
Then just be a separate subgroup.
I wish it was that easy, but it's not. Like, I agree. I wish you could just run as the Communist Party and win. But, like, unfortunately, you have to do this dumbass division shit. Anyway, we accidentally went on too long because I'm brain rotten. You're brain rotten. We're weird mongrels.
Yep.
I have a headache from my lights, honestly. I've been staring into this bright light too long.
Without fail, we find one, we like go issue, and then at some point we find one issue and we proceed to just.
It's because we're brain broken pedants. We're brain broken pedants. We have a disease. Neither of us even disagree.
We just literally, I think it's how we were raised, like, debating so frequently and, like, being told to basically, like, debate at the table and shit.
We're not healthy. It's
We
not.
just, like, I'm gonna be honest, I've been so silent because I kind of realized we just, like, actually agree, and we're like...
Yeah, I realized we agreed about 45 minutes ago, and I was like, God damn it.
This is just, I'm gonna be real though, this kind of just like sums up the leftist movement, is instead of actually fucking doing anything, we'll just like yell at each other about shit like this the whole time, and then we'll be like, oh shit, we didn't do it, fuck all. That sucks.
Yeah, conversation is good, you're right. God, it's so hot in here. Oh my god. I'm gonna fucking take a cold shower. Yeah, for next week, I think we should both bring at least one example of a community org we think is cool that's doing good stuff, and just like so we can just talk about something cool. Let's both find an existing community org and try and like just have a little like presentation. I already kind of have an idea of what I want to do. I'm sure you do too.
Yeah, I have plenty of ideas.
Well, that's going to be what we're going to talk about next week, next Sunday probably. We're going to talk about community extra-governmental orgs that operate and help people.
Cool.
Outside of like regular capitalistic systems.
This could be a cool video idea as well. I just got what we're going to talk about at branch for the RCA next week, and it's what is fascism and how exactly do you fight it? I think, we're going to have a debate and a discussion on it at branch, which is on Saturday, and then we'll do our show Sunday. I think it could be interesting to even talk about the branch discussions I have with the RCA.
I mean, sure. I think that what is fascism is a pretty solidly defined academic, like, breakdown. It's complicated, but I think it's pretty much academically defined. Through, I want to say, like a 13-point system in which not all, but just like some of are required. Now, how do you fight it? I think that's the more complicated discussion. Like, what is fascism is, I think, a much less interesting statement. And honestly, you should be able to find that pretty easily. There's about a bajillion people who have very intelligently and academically outlined what fascism is. How do you fight it is more nuanced and case by case.
Yeah.
The most consistent one, though, is you need to make fascists afraid. You need to make sure that their ideas are not publicly acceptably shareable.
I agree.
Yeah,
I
that's
think that that's something really interesting that I've been very adamant about is a lot of people are scared to use the word communist or anything like that. And we like often dog whistle or like we want to stay away from using those identity phrases. And I think we leave the fascists, the white supremacists, the whatever up to their dog whistles. And I think we proudly, openly say what we are, and then we provide good to our community while openly saying what we are.
yeah. I think it's becoming much more. I think socialist has become incredibly acceptable. Um, and is rapidly becoming incredibly acceptable. I've pretty openly been saying I'm an anarchist for a while now.
Yeah. We need to have a debate about that, anarcho communism, because I am not an. I mean, obviously, communism end stage leads to anarchism, but I presume when you say anarchism, you don't mean end stage. I think you mean like you want to get to. You want the transitional to be some form of anarchy, or do you just mean like end stage communism? Because communism and anarchy, it's the same thing, right?
I agree that it's systemically the same thing. Mostly is that I think there's more so like I say anarcho syndicalism as like a subsect of transition that or anarcho confederationism as a specific subset way of only I think America as being an ideal way to disperse and we had this conversation a couple weeks ago, I think, where I said it's a way I see it as a very direct through line and achievable through line way to disperse power in America to make sure that it doesn't have the imperial fangs that it currently does and to also make sure that we can't internally or externally do harm by divesting power and dispersing power throughout the country in like a syndicated system.
Okay, but do you agree that during the revolution it has to be ran through democratic centralization?
Um
The revolution itself cannot be a decentralized system. Would you agree with that?
oh, yeah, you can't just have simultaneous revolutions that coalesce into that would be like trying to create gold by just holding out your hand and hoping the particles form.
Yeah. Okay.
Uh that
Um,
that's that when I say anarchism, like I don't know, have you read any anarchist literature?
I have. So my conclusion basically is that you start with democratic centralization through the revolution, you foment the revolution, revolution happens. As the Revolutionary Party maintains power, you slowly give more and more and more democratic decentralization, where you know you're dispersing the power, you're dispersing the control, you're doing it in like obvious ways at first, so giving control to certain areas based on their needs, so like power and whatever, you're like allowing them to vote on that shit. And then like you know, like it's a progressive system where basically it starts with one central command, um like, and then just like, yeah, as it
You
progresses you
further divide,
yeah.
yeah. No, yeah. I'm actually surprised you're not more into the anarchist side of thought. I agree they so much overlap and they're virtually the same thing with the same end goal because yeah, communism end goal is also anarchism. It is. But mostly like because I'd say I'm more like conservative on the anarchist side of thought being that I think it is very pragmatic to simultaneously work inside systems, whereas the kind of meme of anarchists is that they will never work within a system and only outside of a system to a fault, and are just like, individual action is the only thing that matters. Us doing things like organizing and like open open kitchens and stuff is the only thing that matters to almost a fault. Whereas like community building is the only thing, like that's kind of the meme of anarchists. So the like kind of you saying why was almost kind of falling in the meme of anarchists. Whereas like it tends to be what I was saying tends to be more of the parody of like a sock dem. Even though my true belief is that we need to have kind of what you said. I just I'm just trying to pragmatically find a path there. Not that I don't fully believe it. You know? And I believe in a pragmatic path there. But yeah, I'm surprised. I'm just surprised the way you talk about it, that you're not more anarchist coded.
Yeah, I find that really funny because I'm actually not really anarchist at all. I'm actually very much so like, um, yeah, like I believe there should be a centralized control. I believe very much I'm not in an anarchist approach. I think that as much as I was saying, like, we can just do barter now, I want to make it clear, like, not as an individual. Barter as an individual, networking as an individual is unproductive. You have to create some sort of quote unquote, like, whatever you want to call it, vanguard organization,
Yeah,
something,
yeah.
and
And that's why I say syndicates, a syndicalist system, because yeah, you need syndicates to
yeah.
organize that power.
And as well, you need to make this thing very clear on what it is. It is which is why, again, I love the title of the Revolutionary Communist America, because you need to make it very clear these people helping you are a revolutionary party. You can't just call yourselves like Memphis food helpers or some shit, you know?
Yeah,
Like, you gotta make it abundantly fucking clear that you are doing this shit for a reason.
yeah. Kind of,
But
kind of one of the reasons that I decided, or because I was calling myself a communist at first, was I just saw there being like a pragmatic through line of basically treating unions like syndicates and organizing individual unions to be weapons to dismantle the capitalistic system through sabotage, basically. Kind of like what you said, with like refusing to allow certain planes, goods to be docked and stuff. Because under our current system, that's where power is held, so you need to create an organized syndicate and then connect those syndicates together under a collective end goal, revolutionary end goal. But yeah, a syndicalist system is also just how I see as a transitional state, at least for America, being productive.
yeah, I would agree.
But yeah, some people I think also do call that anarcho-communism. Um, I can't remember where I read it, but I think it was the Anarchist Federation or Federation. I had talked to people in that, and they had shown me something that was an outline of the Anarchist Confederation.
I
And
always just That's a funny thing. I hear people all the time say that they're anarcho-communists or that they're anarchists, but they believe in or like shit like that, and I'm like, so you're just a communist? Like you're just
yeah, I think anarchism and communism are basically the exact same thing in their end goal. It's more just like, yeah, different. It's again pedantic semantics about individual like machinations of transitional state.
yeah. Which ultimately, like, just fuck off. Let's do a revolution together. Like, let's
Yeah,
be
and that's
all.
why I'm not gatekeepy about like all the leftist branches. We all want the same thing. We're all let's win, and then we can argue about the how to get there.
Yeah, you can line their neck up. I'll pull up the guillotine.
Yeah, I
That's
don't
what
care.
I.
You
Yeah,
hold them, I'll club them.
yeah.
Like,
Like,
who cares? Yeah. Anyway, let's end. It's late, and we fucking we have our assignment for next week. We're gonna do a report on. Each one of us is gonna do a report on some extra governmental group that is community organized. I think that'll be really interesting and fun because I have no idea what you're gonna pull up. Um,
yeah,
they don't have to be currently formed. I'm gonna say, like, if we want to do a history one, like if you wanted to just do Black Panthers, like I think that's valid too.
yeah.
But
They were basically the experts of that, but yeah,
yeah, the Black Panthers were goated. We could probably both talk about the Black Panthers for just one whole episode because the Black Panthers were
yeah,
fucking awesome. They were
yeah.
so
All
awesome.
right,
Anyway,
let's call
yeah.
before we are here forever.
Yes, because we will be here forever. We are yap gods.
Yeah.
I'm so hot. These lights are giving me such a headache. Anyway, good night, y'all. Thanks for popping in. We'll see y'all next Sunday, and I'll see y'all tomorrow probably for one of my regular weekly whatever streams.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Check Sky out on Instagram, and you can check my stuff out here on Twitch, Kick, and YouTube.
See you guys next.